run that long, Doug. It's just a few laps. You start running a half a second slower than everybody else, you'll find yourself with a leader on your butt real soon.
Whoa, looks like a 32 of Barton. Oh, and Wilderson collected as well as Dale. Double cut right on the front stretch. Oh my goodness, wow. It up and he
the slow gets off the bumper of, looks like the 33 got into the back of the 12 and wrecked. I'm not sure if we have that on replay, but the 12 went to spin it down on the inside.
And welcome, race fans, to Kansas City, Kansas, for tonight's running of the Friends Healthcare Services 400 here at Kansas Motor Speedway. Looking for a lot of great racing action out there tonight. We got quite a few of the guys right there, working on the qual laps right now. But we always got to talk about points right now. Coming in here, Lewis Bussa holds a lead there in the points, Kevin. But that could be really extended here tonight. I don't see our number 2 man out there, Ben Bendo, anywhere.
That's it, Doug. And what this does is everybody seeing that he's not here, everybody from third on back thinks they have a shot to get in there and make up some points now. So I expect everybody to go hard tonight and try to make up that deficit.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in third on back, Kevin, I'm definitely going hard tonight, try to make up that deficit, try to get myself up there. And, if anything were to happen to Lewis Bussa out here tonight, that could really shake the points up quite a bit for a lot of these guys. So, a lot of things could happen out here, and in Kansas it typically does, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a great track to run at, Doug. There's not a lot of banking here. The thing you have to worry about with this track is there's a lot of negative camber in your right front tire. You don't want to burn that inside up or get the bead too hot and roll that tire right off the rim. But it's very an aged track. The asphalt's aged. It's got a lot of loose places to it. As you probably saw Thursday night, there's a lot of loose race cars out there, and typically your action is right off of turn 2 right there. So you don't want to get 2 wide, 3 wide, stuff like that. You kind of want to get settled in. But just an all-around great racetrack to run at.
Yeah, I see a lot of different strategies playing out. We saw it last week there at Dover, Kevin, but I think we'll see quite a bit of pit road strategies played out tonight, too, with these guys, because this place has a tendency to have those nice, long green flag runs, once they get the cars dialed in. So pit strategy could be a big factor in tonight's race.
Yeah, pit strategy and tire management and fuel mileage. I think fuel mileage, you know how it is, Doug. We get in those long green flag runs you were talking about. And what happens is we get settled in, and those guys that have that fuel mileage figured out, they could, snooker somebody out of a position here and come out with a win. But that is in case, unless we stay green. As you know, you get a late race caution, you're stuck out here with old tires and try to do something on fuel mileage. That's pretty much going to end your night trying to win a race. But yeah, this is Kansas, man, and anything can happen here.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we talk about that fuel mileage and the strategy, that plays into it. These cars, a lot of times it'll come down to pit strategy here and that fuel mileage especially. If you can get 2, 3, 4 laps further than the next guy, I mean, we've seen it a lot of 1.5 mile tracks already this year. If this thing stays green, it could be a 2-car, 3-car shootout there towards the end. So, but it's one of those tracks, Kevin, it's kind of hard if you're not careful getting down on the pit road, and we may see some incidents there on pit road like we've seen so far this year, with guys trying to get on, spinning, locking those tires up, coming down off the banking. And we also may see that factor, just as we saw a couple of races back, guys on pit road beating and banging each other.
Yeah, this pit road it's not like last week's Dover. I tell you, we saw what happened to a lot of race leaders. We had multiple penalties, action on pit roads. It's so narrow. Here, it's you got plenty of room, but getting onto it, you carry so much speed through 3 and 4. You want to get all you can get before you get down to the pit road. A lot of these guys, are going to be adjusting their brake bias, trying to not put as much rear brake bias in it as they can. Kansas is a momentum track, so you're not relying on brakes here that much, but you need to get on pit road. And getting on here can be a mess. And as we saw today in NASCAR, the nationwide race, and in practice, we had two drivers coming off the pit road. So it's just as slippery coming off the pit road onto the apron, onto the track, as it is getting in.
Yeah, it can be an interesting trick here at Kansas, getting on and off the pit road. But kind of jumping back to the points there for a second, Kevin. But I tell you, the man on the move after missing the first race of the chase this year is Mr. Dale Reynolds in that number 27 machine. After last week's performance at Dover, he's jumped up 2 positions. Currently resides about 72 points back in 8th place. We referred to it a little bit earlier. Ben Bando not being here tonight, and making his run. But this could be a good opportunity for Dale Reynolds, who looks like he had a good qualifying effort out there tonight too, from what I'm seeing on the leaderboard. But it's a good chance for that young man, to bring EPR up through the standings, get that car a little bit closer to the front. But with 72 points, it's still a long way to go for Dale Reynolds.
Yeah, and you know what? He's banking, crossing his fingers, got his lucky rabbit's foot in a car, whatever, that number 3 car, Lewis Bustle, has some trouble tonight. But think about this, Doug. All of our races so far that we've been in the chase, the 3 car has had the 33 to kind of work with him. That's been a common theme through all these races. And going into this one, man, he's pretty much by himself. He's not going to have many friends out there to work with tonight as far as teammates and stuff, and it seems like him and the 33 have been hooked up. Like I said, all these beginning races of the chase, it's going to be interesting to see how the other guys handle that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see Lewis Buss out there tonight without that 33 of Ben Bando, because like you said, we've referenced it most of the year so far. When these two are on the track, they pretty much run nose to tail together and follow fairly well the same pit strategies, the same line around the track, the whole 9 yards. So, with Lewis Buss out there, he's not going to have, Ben Bando out there behind him tonight or in front of him, whichever the case may be. But, it's a whole different set of rules here all of a sudden. So look for Lewis. He might have a little trouble, a little slip up here tonight that could cost him and drop him out of the points too, because Brian Lee's sitting right there in 3rd place and looking to pounce at any moment.
Well, I'm telling you, Doug, as you look through all the points, it's really tight, 1st through 5th. Just over a race out, I think it is in 5th spot. But the thing is, we have the unknowns coming up. If the 3 has trouble tonight here, and these guys can capitalize on this, we have, Talladega coming up in a couple of weeks, which we know what can happen there. We have Martinsville, which is another crapshoot. So I'm telling you, if something happens to the 3 tonight and these guys can capitalize on it, it's going to bunch things really up, really, really tight. And it could be fair game for about the 1st 6, 7 spots.
Yeah, like you said, if he has some trouble out here tonight, it's going to bunch everything back up. And all those guys who, look like they may be out of it now, would suddenly be right back in the thick of things, and that would tighten up the chase order altogether. And looking at stats here for our racers here in NuffWorld, I don't see tonight, Kevin, I don't see any real clear-cut favorites. It seems like, it's pretty spread out here at Kansas over the years that we've been coming here with NuffWorld TV and NuffWorld Racing. I'm showing guys like Bruce Turner with a win, Jacob Popolowski, who also isn't here tonight, he has a win. Lewis Bussa has 1 win here. And it looks like this could possibly be the Achilles heel, per se, so far of what we've came to with Lewis Bussa. He's been here 3 times, but only has 1 win, which is, not a stat you see a lot from Lewis. But you also have other winners over here like Jeremy Enix, and also we talked about earlier, Dale Reynolds has a win here. So, look for some of these guys possibly to, they know how to get around this track, get up there and try to steal that win away tonight and get max points.
Yeah, and you can't never count the 3 out. Basically, anywhere we go, he's a threat to win. But I think the 27, is right there. He could capitalize on this tonight and get a win out of here. Like I said, he has a win here. Somebody that I think we'll have to keep an eye on tonight. That's going to run really good here. If you can keep the car underneath of him and keep things dialed in, is the 08 of Danny Gutierrez. I think he might be the dark horse here. He might be laying in the weeds waiting to steal one. And my other one, can't count him out. I'm telling you what, Doug, the last 3 races we've counted him out and said, where did he come from? And he comes back is Brian Lee, which I don't even see Mr. Lee on the starting grid, so we might have a big change tonight.
Yeah, that's that's true. He's been one of those guys.
He is.
He finally did make it in, Kevin. But I was gonna say, one of the guys I've been watching as they ran around out here during practice and stuff, Kevin. Also, he's a new guy over here, but he's looked good out here at Kansas so far. Is that the 06 of Rob Partridge? He's number 5 on the speed chart. During practice and stuff, so he's looking real good. So it might be something we see someone that's out here, we don't really talk much about, a new guy, and start putting some pressure on some of these veterans too tonight.
Yeah, and you know what it's going to come down to? It's going to come down basically through the middle of a fuel run to the end of a fuel run. I think is going to define your winner here. Everybody can pretty much run blazing fast laps here for the first 20, 25 laps, and then you start to fall off. This place is just like a cheese grater on tires. So I think the person that can kind of run 75-80% on the beginning of a fuel run and then be able to run really good through the second half of it is going to do really well in this race. So, I pretty much am with you, Doug. I think this race is pretty much up for grabs for about 4 or 5 people for sure.
Yeah, you talk about those managing tires too, and that's one of the things I kind of noticed out there, Kevin, during practice. I didn't see a lot of guys going after those long runs out there. Most of these guys were, going out there running 10, 15, maybe even 20 laps. But I didn't see. I don't think I've seen anyone out there running, trying to run like a 40-lap run or anything like that to see how these cars are going to do, in the long haul. And then, of course, you factor in the track is going to change too. So, a lot of it's going to be adjustments, down on pit lane and getting those cars adjusted as the track changes, and who can keep up with it tonight too, Kevin.
Yeah, and Doug, one of the biggest things about this track is once you get settled in, the tire pressures come up, and you pretty much know what you got about 5 or 6 laps in. This place is so line sensitive. You mess up your entrance going in to a corner, it'll basically destroy your whole lap. And what you got to really be careful about here is being underneath of a car in a corner. These cars are so aero dependent of air being on the back quarter panel and that spoiler in the back. If you get a car on the outside of you, it will just suck you around. So you got to have the perfect balance. And then there's the dirty air. I mean, if you get stuck behind a bunch of cars and your car was set up to run out front, you've got to make changes to make it go through that, to manipulate the air and get that thing going. So, there's a lot of factors here, but, it just comes right down to good chassis setup, and basically this is a rhythm track, and you got to hit your marks every lap.
Yeah, that's definitely it's a very rhythm-sensitive track, like you said. You got to stay with it, and you talk about that dirty air and getting side by side with someone. I was a victim of that myself there in Thursday night's Pure Sim race. Me and Ed Wilson were running side by side the entire way down the front stretch coming out of 4. And we got down into turn 1, and I fell victim to just what you're talking about, Kevin. We got down in that corner right there, and that car got really light as I was down on that inside lane, and Ed was in the second lane up. The rear end of that car got real light and came around before you even knew it. So, that's a very thing that can happen here and just completely ruin your lap or your race altogether, And then turn 3 also has that little dip as you come from the high side to that inside lane. So, you got to watch that transition if you cut in there too much. So, there's definitely things to look for with that dirty air and such.
Yeah. And one final thing that I want to touch on, Doug, is a lot of guys like to use the apron down here. You got to be so careful coming back up on the track, because basically you're de-wedging the car to make it turn. So you got to be really careful of that. We've seen some incidents here over the years. So it's going to be interesting to see those guys at the start-finish line on the flat.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something to look at and pay attention to there. So these guys getting down there, like you said, it de-wedges that car and just upsets it all together when you try to get back up on the track. And we've even seen that in NASCAR racing. It was Kurt Busch and Brad Keselowski maybe a couple of months ago, same exact incident. Kurt Busch got down there on that apron like that, de-wedged the car and came right back up the track, you know, into Keselowski as they were 4 wide, which we may see some of that tonight, you know, 4 wide, because this is a fairly large front stretch here, and guys can get 2, 3, 4 wide here. But you know, Kevin, let's cut away real quick and get the national anthem in, and that way we can get back here with some live broadcast and some live action here right after the national anthem.
What so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, and bright stars through the perilous sky, o'er the ramparts we were so gallantly streaming, and the rugged red glare upon the singing air gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And welcome back to Kansas Motor Speedway here in Kansas City, Kansas, for tonight's running of the Friends Medical Services 400 here at Kansas Motor Speedway, presented by NuffWORLD TV. I'm joined up here tonight with Kevin Kelly and, of course, producer back here, Stephen Mahana, giving you all the wonderful shots that you will see out here tonight and bringing you all the in-car and the replays also. Doing a great job, I might add, by the way. He's the man that kind of keeps himself busy back there a lot more so than we do, Kevin.
Hey, let's not let his head get any bigger than it already is, so we'll just leave it at that. No, he does a great job with all the replays and everything else and the action that's going on around here. Can't wait to see the picks from tonight.
Yeah, I want to send a thank you out there, you know, to Friends Home Healthcare Services. You know, they're down there in Texas in the Donna Mercedes area, Westlaco, all around that area, you know, for sponsoring tonight's race. And just kind of a quick note there, Kevin, we got to say tie on the track record out here tonight with tonight's pole sitter, Timmy St. Jean.
Yeah, that's it, a 30.955. He couldn't even squeak 100th out of that car to get that track record. So hey, I guess if you're gonna go after it, tying's not bad.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to on that pole, and takes home tonight's TB Creative Designs Pole Award winner. You know, sitting out there with that great qualifying effort. So congratulations to Timmy St. Jean on tonight's you know, qualifying there on the pole. But let's kind of run a quick run through here for you, kind of get you through the field, so to speak. And like we talked about a little bit earlier, Timmy St. Jean, you know, with tonight's TB Creative Designs Pole Award, running at 30.955. Running on the outside of him, out there in number 2 position, will be the number 3 of Louis Bussa. In third place will be the number 27 of Dale Reynolds. Starting out for tonight, the 4 car of Dennis Wright. The 29 car will start in 5th place with driver Jeremy Enoch. Starting in 6th tonight will be the number 5 of Kyle Lentz. Starting in 7th will be the 7 car of Howard Wildrick. Starting 8th will be the 23 of Frankie Samantos. Starting in 9th will be the 06 of Rod Partridge. And starting in 10th will be the 04 of Justin Lucas.
All right, starting at P11, got the number 88, Ed Wilson. Starting 11th, starting 12th, the number 16 of Brian Lee. Starting 13th, number 87 of Kevin Kelly Jr. Starting 14th, the number 08, Danny Gutierrez. Starting 15th, the number 12, Jerry Hinkle. Starting 16th, the number 54, Charles Chapman. Starting 17th, the number 28, Dennis Turtle Jenkins. Starting 18th, Bruce Turner in the 03. Starting 19th, the number 32 of Justin Barton. And starting 20th, number 64, John Lawler.
Starting in 21st will be the number 34 of Ben Britton. Starting in 22nd will be the number 78 of Chris Melton. Starting 23rd will be the 15 of Darren Binge. Starting 23rd, well, we got the green flag once again, Kevin, and we're off live racing action here for Kevin.
That's it, 83 gets a good start there. Got the 3 on the outside, followed by a 27 trying to fill a hole there. Looks like the 3 is going to come down. He's going to fill that void. Just single file, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, just kind of interesting to note there real quick, Kevin. One of the guys that did just make it in at the very last second, that number 24 of Chuck Garcia has made it, but the 08, you referred to him earlier, Danny Gutierrez, wasn't able to get the car fired on pit road, so he's still sitting on pit road right now, getting ready to, he's got it fired down, getting ready to come out and join the pack. So he's going to be a lap down on the first lap already.
Yeah, he's going to need a caution to get back in that, that's for sure. I got to wonder what the problem was getting the car fired. As we got somebody way high back there going in the corner. The 83 is getting challenged here by the 3 coming down in the corner, Doug.
Yeah, the 3 has got that inside line and ahead of steam, and looks like he's got a few followers right there that will come right along with him. The 27 of Dale Reynolds, the 29 of, Jeremy Enix, and also the 5 of Kyle Lynch. They're all lined up on that inside lane and making a train right past Kimmy St. Jean there.
Yeah, you know, Doug, shame on us for not even noticing the 29 was in this race. We know how he runs here, and he's already looking for third spot here. So don't count that 29 car out before the end of this race either.
Yeah, and you see the 48 of Travis McKinney coming up off the apron right there, getting up onto the racing surface, coming up to speed. You know, he was one of those guys that Nuff World rule over here. If you don't qualify for the grid, then you got a drive-through penalty there on lap 1. So, you know, currently he's been shown in a lucky dog position, had to run that drive-through, and that takes it away from that 08 of Gutierrez. So makes it a little bit tougher for Danny Gutierrez to, you know, get that lucky dog now, Kevin.
Yeah, that's it. And, you know, I'm looking back here, as you were saying, a 48, he is just driving through the field. I think he's on a man on a mission. He wants to try to get his lap back the hard way, Doug. Oh, the 7 spins right in front of them. Not sure if Carson's going to come out, but got in there a little bit too hot. The 7 did and just lost it, went up. Got looks like a lot of left side damages. He's trying to get it turned around on the track right now.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, a few cars made some evasive maneuvers right there to get out of the way, but looks like the 7 is able to keep it up there against the wall. It looks like they're staying green for now. He's able to get right down on the pit road, so he's going to get down there, get that damage looked at, get 4 fresh tires on that, and rejoin the race here. But tough break already for the 7 car.
Yeah, he's got a lot of left side damage. The left side quarter panel and the spoiler's all been up there, so I'm afraid to say he's going to have a long night. I don't know if they're going to be able to fix the aero on that car to make it competitive. So we'll see. We've been wrong before. We've seen guys out here with busted up cars make the adjustments and make the fixes on them to get them right, but we'll just have to see what happens.
You know, Kevin, I'm kind of noticing out there, too, on the grid. You know, we talked about Canada's going to be a wild mix-up. There's going to be some shake-ups here with, you know, the amount of racers that we had and a couple not being here. But I'm looking out there on the grid right now, and we've already got 4 cars 1 lap or more down, you know, on lap 6. So we're going to have a lot of fighting going on, too, for that lucky dog position, trying to get back on the lead lap. So there's a lot of guys got a lot to gain here already tonight, and then we're just 6 laps in the book.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the leader, and you know, he's really not pulled away from these guys at all, Doug. If anything, the 29 to me looks like he's the fastest car on the track right now. Like I said, the tire pressures are pretty much to where you're going to know what your car is going to do for the rest of the run right now. He's getting a huge run going down into turn 1. So I look for him to take the lead here the next couple of laps. Really looking good. And look at the third place car of Kyle Lent, the number 5 car. He took that spot away from Dale Reynolds, the number 27. So he's coming up now. So like I said, right about now, you know what you've got for the race. So they're either screaming that they're loose, tight, but I doubt, you know how race car drivers are. Neither one of them are completely satisfied unless they're out front. So.
Yeah, I was kind of watching there as we had the cams up too, Kevin, looking right off the back bumper of Louis Bussa, in that number 3 machine. But Jeremy Enix, just like you said it there, he's getting a heck of a run down into those corners, and he's following the tire tracks all the way through the corners of Louis Bussa. So, and Kyle Lent moving up in there. Looks like these three have put just a little separation, 2 or 3, maybe even 4 car lengths on Dale Riddle there in the 27. He's been shuffled back and forth, but it looks like that second and third place car right now, Kyle Lent and Jeremy Enix, may have the fastest cars out there on the track, but, catching the guy and getting around him is a whole different story, as they say.
Yep, and you know what? We talked about this. As you see the 48 kind of getting into the picture right there. He's a lap down, trying to get it back the hard way, and he is hard charging. See the 27 get close to the wall right there. But, as we said at the beginning of the race, Doug, the 3 really doesn't have any help out here. He's got a couple teammates, but they're back in the back. We've used to seeing him running with the 33 here, and as we see the 5 trying to get underneath of the 29 on the front stretch. 29's going to eventually give him some room there, and he's going to take that position away and slide into second. So I'm telling you, 3's got no friends here tonight. He's going to have to fend them all off.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, as we were watching right there, that happened, Kevin. One of the other cars I noticed right there was that 48 of Travis McKinney. Pulled the exact same move, got underneath Dale Reynolds right there coming through the tri-oval, and, was able to get around him. He's running right on that back bumper. Jeremy Enix now, he may have one of the fastest cars out here at this early juncture of the race, the way he's moving through the fields, and like you said, he's going to try to do it the hard way, it looks like. So McKinney definitely, looks like in the early going at least, he's definitely got a good car underneath him.
Yeah, and he's put himself, I believe, right in the lucky dog spot there. Knowing Travis as he is a great driver, hard charger. I mean, he'll bring you back the steering wheel. He's going to go up there and try to show these boys, look, you better not give me a lap back because I'll be your nightmare. And I'm telling you, he is all over the 29. It looks to me to be the fastest car on the track right now, the 48.
Yeah, it looks like he's looking to make a move. Yeah, he is. As he goes down into the corner right there, he moves underneath the 29 of Jeremy Enix, holding that bottom line right there. So, he'll be moving back on and be setting his sights here real soon on Kyle Lent and Louis Bussa up there in front too. So I don't see it being too long the way Travis is running that car right now, and if it stays under him like it is, he's definitely going to be able, Kevin, to race his lap back here before much longer.
Yeah, and the 29 did a smart thing there. He's like, look, dude, we're not on the same lap. We're not even for position. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to let you go. I'm not just going to roll over and give it to you, but I'm not going to fight you. And, when you do that, we've seen just that little bit of side-by-side action. The 27 just stuck right back on those two. So, that's the thing here. You don't want to get caught racing somebody side-by-side. Obviously, if it's the last lap, it's a different story. But when you're racing a car that's out of position like that, you just need to let them go like the 29 did and just follow them. You might be able to find a line around the track that's a little bit better than yours just by watching somebody that's a little bit quicker than you are.
Yeah, that's for sure. And, as I'm watching here, it looks like McKinney has just got such a run down into those corners, that he's able to get down in there and make up some ground. It seems like that's where he's making up for most of his ground is right there in the corner. He loses a little bit down through the straightaways, maybe not getting as much speed as what the leaders are, but he's definitely able to gain some ground down there and getting into 1 and getting into 3, which is helping him a lot right now. And the unfortunate these top 2 cars, though, Kevin, are starting to pull away a bit here with Louis Bussa and Kyle Lent. But, of course, if they get to battling side by side, just like what we saw a little bit earlier when, McKinney went around Jeremy Enix there, these guys can get stuck back up there real quick and, make it a quick 4-car pack right there once again.
That's it. And right about now, when we talked a while ago, the tire pressure's coming and all that, right about now, you really know what you got. It's like, yeah, it's either feast or famine right now. You're looking for that first pit stop. I know the 7 car, he had an incident there earlier, so he's already knowing what his car needs, and now it's unfortunately probably made it a lot worse off. He's running around there, I think, in 25th position. But I want to jump back here to around 14th and 15th spot, Doug, looking. Got the 28. We said it last week, and I'm saying it again. The 28, he has turned his program around. He's running better and better every week. I know he's been doing a lot more testing and stuff. And look at him running up in P15 and looking pretty good, Doug.
Yeah, Dennis is one of those guys, like we talk about a lot. You know, he's a veteran here. He's been around for quite some time, and he's been known to be, you know, a hard-running guy. I mean, it ain't like he's going to lay back and take it easy, but just like you referred to, Kevin, he's had a lot of bad luck throughout this 2015 season. You know, just, you know, a lot of times it seems like he's in the wrong place, wrong time, or, you know, if he just missed a setup, he couldn't catch a break anywhere throughout the race. But it's good to see Dennis having some good runs once again. You know, it's well-deserved after the trials that he's been through throughout this 2013 season to start getting that program turned around here towards the end of 2013, and hopefully that momentum can carry over into 2014. As you know, of course, Dennis, that's what he's looking at now, is just trying to do some testing, get the most out of this car right now that he possibly can to get ready for next year, because, you know, he's really, unfortunately, with the troubles that he had this year, you know, he's not really fighting for that chase position and not fighting for a championship. So, you know, he's got a lot of pride in what he does, and he's definitely out here giving it his all week after week and learning from what he can.
That's it. And, you know, not making the chase, you know, it's a big letdown. It's like, well, I didn't make the chase, and I fought to get in there. So you can do one of two things here, and actually you can combine the two. You know, you can go out and just do complete testing, because a lot of these tracks we will revisit next year. We run a lot of them, you know, 2 times. But not only that, it also gives you the chance to just go out and just, you know, drive like you stole it and try some things that you normally wouldn't do, you know, throughout the year. I mean, you know, the chase is gone, so you need to, you know, look forward to next year, or, you know, just try some things. So try some new setups, some new engine packages and stuff like that. So, you know, the chasers have their little agenda, and the non-chasers have theirs too. So, but I definitely think that there's no pressure on the non-chasers. They can just go out here and they can just run as hard as they want and try some things. And, you know, if it don't work, it don't work.
Yeah, and as we're talking there, Kevin, that 27 of Dale Reynolds, he was able to make a good hard charge down the front stretch about a lap and a half ago, get underneath that 29 of Jeremy Enix, and going into turn 1 was able to get around him there. So moved Dale Reynolds back up to position number 3, you know, and looks like he's pulled away just a little bit from Enix, and maybe he's trying to inch into, you know, back up towards that, catching that front pack if he can get a little bit of, what would we say, draft here. What little bit there is here in Kansas, to catch a little bit of draft off of Travis McKinney's car, maybe suck back up to those guys and put himself in a position to start fighting a little bit with those leaders, as looks like Lent's a little tight down there in the middle of the corners, Kevin, sliding up on that high side quite a bit.
Yeah, you know, we're looking back here. Let's go back and take a look at 5th, 6th, and 7th. Timmy St. Jean, our pole sitter, that car looks a little tight to me. He's dropped back to the 7th place. Don't know. He might have been waiting for that first pit stop. As we all know, we start the race on stickers, and they might have that car set up a little bit differently for scuff on the first pit stop. But we're seeing some of the guys, except for the 3 that were up front, kind of falling to the back side there. So the thing is, you just can't push the car. You want to be able to just sit there and ride. You know you're going to get a pit stop, or you're going to get a break and get a caution. You don't want to tear the fenders up on it. You just want to ride, and I think that's what Timmy's doing. He's a veteran. He knows what that car needs, and he's just going to ride until he gets a chance to take care of it.
Yeah, you caught exactly what I was going to say there, Kevin. I think Timmy may be one of those guys, just like you said, that, you know, he knows what his car is going to be able to do on those scuffs. And once he gets those scuffs on there, it's going to loosen his car up and maybe be just right where he wants it, you know. But starting this race, they always have to start on those sticker tires, which, you know, are quite a bit different than running on scuffs. So I think that may be the case here with Timmy after running that blistering qualifying lap that he ran, tied the pole right here in Kansas. And, you know, he fell back about 7 positions now since starting on the pole. And he may be one of those guys, just like you said, looking for a pit stop really soon, you know, to get in there and get those scuffs back on it and move that car back up towards the front as it was set up to run that way.
That's it. You know, if you go back up front, the 3 is stretched out just a little bit by like 5 car lengths over the 5. But we're seeing a trend here. The 27, as you said before, got that position. He's looking at the 48, which is not for position, just physically on the racetrack. But the 27 seems to have found the line now, or the setup has just basically come in to his liking. But to me, he looks like probably the fastest car on the track right now. He's gaining those positions. Like I said, draft does help a lot here. But definitely, physically, you can see him making that time up on the 48 and the 5. And it's just a matter of time, it looks like you said a while ago, the 5 is getting tight, the 48 is going to slide underneath there and take advantage of that. And you know the 27, as we see him, he's going to fill that void and go right on by. So you know what happens if you get on the outside here, Doug.
Yeah, you get on that outside line, Kevin, you're definitely, there's cars going underneath you. And it looks like, just like we talked a little earlier, it looks like Kyle has the tight side there in the middle. He gets way up almost next to the wall right there. And, you know, that's allowing these guys to make up some time, as Reynolds looks like making a move now underneath the 48. So it may be one of those cases that Dale Reynolds has one of those cars, Kevin, that's set up to go on these long runs, which, you know, if it sticks like that, you know, it's one of those things, you know, we're running these long green flag runs, and it may stay like that throughout the night. This thing stays green. It looks like Dale Reynolds may have the car that's set up to run that way, where some of these others may only have, you know, a 40, 50 lap car. Dale looks like his is just starting to come in about lap 20 to 25, so it may be a big advantage if that's the way that car is set up for Reynolds.
That's it. You know, we're looking at the battle within a battle right here, Doug. We got the 48 who's trying to get the lucky dog. We got the 7 who is battling the 48, I believe, for a lucky dog. So he can't let that guy pass him. He's trying to catch the leader to get a lap back. And oh, by the way, the 7 is trying to pass you, the 48, trying to get his lap back. So we got a battle within a battle here.
Yeah, there's a lot of these cars. Looks like Reynolds got just a little bit tight there in the corner as it came out. Was able to get it back up and take off. But he's starting to put some distance on those guys that he's just fighting with the last or so ago. And Kyle Lent now gets beyond there. And these guys are still side by side with that 48 and the 7. So these guys are fighting it out. And of course, we know that that 7 car, you know, he's got a lot fresher tires. So if the 48 can hold him off, you know, that definitely shows something about the car he's got underneath him.
That's it, and I'm sitting here and I'm watching the lap times, Doug. And the 27, Dale Reynolds, is about a tenth faster a lap than the 3 is. So I'm keeping an eye on it right now just to see what he's going to make up on this lap right here. But if he can close this distance, we got a spin behind him. It looks, Doug. Looks like we got a spin.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Yeah, that was right there in that group we were just watching a little bit earlier too. I couldn't tell exactly which car it was, but definitely had a spinner up there on that high side. It looks like it may have been Kyle Lent in the 5 machine. So, you know, wow, that's interesting. Not sure what happened, but we've been talking about, you know, Kevin, that car got getting tight on down there in the center of the corner. So he may have got up and tagged that wall and messed it up a little bit there. But we're staying green out here on the track. So, unfortunate incident as Kyle Lent takes the hard left into the garage area. It looks like he may be calling it a night here, Kevin.
Yeah, and you know what, Doug? What it looks like happened with the 5 is that typical when you get tight. For one, you're putting more wheel into it because you're trying to get it to turn. It's not turning, so then you got to back out of the gas. So you're backing your corner up, and it's not getting down in the track where you were running before. So you're running a little bit higher than you want to be, and you just start heating that right rear up. And I think that's what happened to that car. I think he just got so much temperature in that right rear and the right front that basically it just went up underneath him, it looks like.
Yeah, unfortunate for Kyle Lent tonight. And it looks like from the replay there, it's exactly what you talked about, Kevin. It looks like as he come down into the corner right there, looks like as he made that transition from the high side, moving down into the corner, getting down into that second lane, the rear of that car just come right around on him as he tried to correct it, just wasn't able to correct it, and, you know, comes right up into that wall, puts the, you know, driver's side right into the wall, spins it off the track, down onto the apron, and right down on the pit road. So looks like quite a bit of damage was done to that car, but, you know, he put it behind the wall and called it a night. So unfortunate break for Kyle Lent, who was having a real good run and had a good showing there in the early part of this race.
Yep, and you know, I think the 5 might have been banking on a caution earlier and might have set his car up for a little bit of a short run, figuring we'd get a caution, you know, 25, 30 laps in, he would, you know, get those tires and that suspension right on that car. But what happens, you know, you just get tight like that and you build so much pressure up in that right rear, it's just like adding a spring to it. It's like somebody wants to lift the right side of your car off the road, and you know, off the track, I mean, and what happens is it just gets lighter and lighter and lighter in the rear end, and before you know it, you're trying to catch up with the steering, and it's just not good for the chassis. It's not good for the tires. It makes them angry, and that's exactly what happened right there.
Yeah, unfortunate for Kyle Lent here tonight. You know, who he'd been having a good run. But we see that 7 of Howard Wildrick now. He's been working over that 29 for a few laps, finally able to get around the 29 of Jeremy Enoch. So, you know, he's been able to move a little bit closer. But right now, Travis McKinney, you know, we were talking about that battle a little bit earlier. McKinney's been able to get away from Wildrick a little bit. Kind of went back and looked, too. It looks like those two are on 2 different laps, though, Kevin. So it looks like McKinney may have tagged the wall there just a little bit coming up out of 2. But Wildrick's got a lot of ground to make up here tonight. And it looks like, you know, that car is moving towards the front. But, you know, it's going to be a long night for McKinney and also for Wildrick, you know, if we don't have some cautions here pretty soon.
Yeah, and the thing is that, you know, it's hard to tell your right foot, you know, that you got to kind of just keep a pace and take care of your equipment and all that. You're already running around wounded, so just pushing the car that much harder, you know, you're just trying to make up that time. You know, sometimes, you know, Lady Luck has to lay on your side. You can't go out and get it, you know, especially, you know, the first 37 laps of a race. You got to kind of ride. You made your bed, you know, you wrecked. You just got to, you know, just try to take care of the tires, take care of the car, and just hope that, you know, the brakes fall your way, get a wave around a lucky dog or something like that. So, you know, I understand why he's running it hard. You know, we're all racers, and that's what you got to do. But, you know, it's easy for us to sit up here and say this is what you got to do. We know we do the same thing, Doug.
Yeah, that's for sure, you know. But I tell you, one of the guys who been seeing a lot of here lately is moving back towards the front. Qualified a little further back tonight was Justin McLucas, Kevin, in that number 04 machine, currently running in the position number 5 right now. So, you know, he's starting to make his way back up through the field, and he's picking up a little bit here and there on Frankie Samanto, who's currently running in 4th, you know. But you can see right there in front of him, not that far up, is Jeremy Enoch in that 29 machine. So McLucas is starting to make some ground up, starting to make a little bit of noise out there, making his way towards the front. But if you look right behind him, a guy we talked about a little bit earlier, a pole sitter, had fell back all the way to 9th place position and started making up a little bit of ground once again. That 83 of Timmy St. Jean currently running in 6th. So he's been able to rebound and pick off a couple more positions, Kevin. So, you know, I'm sure he's looking, you know, to, like you said, get in there and make some changes to that car, possibly get some scuffs under it. But Justin McLucas is one of those guys who's definitely making his way towards the front already.
Yeah, and you know, he was setting himself up for a win last week and caught the apron there and you know, couldn't finish it off, but I think he got a 3rd place out of that. But, you know, here he is again, like you said, having another solid run and taking care of his car, doing what he's got to do. And in front of him, the 23, I believe he started somewhere in like 12th position, I believe, Doug. And he's gained 8 spots. He's up to 4. So yeah, it's a trend here, if you can see it. We've got, you know, we got some youngsters in here, but right now I think the veterans, they know what it takes to run. You know, they know what it needs to go on a long run. You know, they probably, you know, call them old, call them wise, call them whatever. But these guys know what they need to do to run a full fuel run and save the tires. I mean, some of these guys are probably already getting tire warnings from the crew chiefs and stuff like that. These guys just motor on, and 83 is proof of that.
Yeah, I'm looking back, still watching this up here with Justin McLucas, Kevin. But, you know, him and Frankie Samato have been able to pick up ground, and they've made it right there to, they're on the bumper now of Jeremy Enoch. So, you know, these guys are, as Frankie moves out to the high side, looks like he's going to make a move around Enoch, and McLucas is following right up on that high side with him. So, you know, as these guys head off into 1 here, they're both up on the high side. As Samato looks like he's going to clear him. McLucas is going to be door-to-door with him coming off the corner. But, you know, you talk about a guy making a move tonight, Kevin. I was going to refer to him there just before all this all got started, was just a little further back there in 8th place with that 03 machine of Bruce Turner. He's made his way up into the 8th place position. Started tonight back in 22nd position. So he's picked up 14 positions here so far tonight. So, you know, our defending you know, Cup champion, Bruce Turner, looks like he's got that car dialed in tonight, Kevin.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, he was a last-minute show up at the race, so I didn't think he was going to get a chance to run tonight, but he shows up. And like you said, he's running in 8th spot. And looking pretty good. You know, he's a teammate to the 3 cars. So if there's anyone that can slide in to that 33's little niche there that's been the last few races. It's the 03. You know, he can get up there and run with him. It wouldn't be even surprise me if these guys would work out some pit strategy where they could hook up. But a place that I want to go back to, Doug, and I believe he is running in the 10th spot. It's the 16th of Brian Lee. I've got a new nickname for him, man. It's the hard charger, because I'm telling you, Doug, you know for a fact, this guy, the last 3 races, we counted him out, whether it was a wreck, where it was an accident on pit road, where it was a miscue on pit road, getting caught on pit road and a caution comes out. This guy, every time we count him out, he finds a way to get back inside the top 5, top 10, and he's running right there in P10 right now. Slid back a little bit from where he qualified, but he ain't fooling me with that. Every time I think this guy's in trouble, Doug, he proves me wrong.
Well, you know, I was going to say, Kevin, I think my nickname for him is the Sweeper, because that seems about what he's about doing here. He'll get up there, he'll run up front, but if you don't see him up front, he's just running about mid-pack, and then all of a sudden, just like you said, we'll get there towards the last 30, 40 laps of the race, and we're like, holy cow, you know, where has Brian Lee been on that? And he's got a lot of speed. What's going on with that? And I kind of like to refer to him as the Sleeper, and that may be what the strategy is that's going on tonight right now. You know, Brian, you know, kind of just, you know, kind of laying back there maybe a little bit, taking it easy, seeing what his car is, what he's got underneath him, and, you know, we'll wait to the latter part of the race. You know, we still got 220 plus laps of this thing to go, so he's got plenty of time to make, you know, make his move.
Yeah, and you know, somebody else we've been talking about a lot lately too had a disastrous qualifying, but the 78, Chris Melton, battling back. You know, we talk about him every week too. He's right there. He's in P11, car looking good. It looks like a long run car. He's running lap times, you know, pretty comparable to the leader. But he's just there. He's just riding. We're 49 laps in. And right now these guys are screaming, Doug. They're just like, I need tires. You know, I need this, I need that. Would not surprise me if you had some guys pit early here, especially if you're close to going a lap down. Come in and get some fresh tires on this thing and try to take care of it.
Yeah, we might start seeing some guys, like you say, Kevin, coming in here, maybe doing that old, refer to it a lot of times, that short pit, you know, try to get some fresh tires on it. Try to maybe make up some track position. But, you know, I know based off of what we've seen throughout the year, I'll tell you one guy who really isn't doesn't like that whole strategy of the, you know, the short pit, but that's number 3 of Louis Buffa. He tends to run that car to the very end, so there ain't much left on the tires, there ain't no fuel in the tank. So, you know, that's one of those things. If you can get in, get right, and get back out and make up some position on Lewis, you know, then you've done something, because he seems to be able to milk those tires for every last inch of rubber that's left on them.
That's it. It's just as we were talking about people pitting early, the 28 is on pit road, not sure if he had any issues or he's just coming in here saying, look, I'm almost a lap down. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take some tires. Looks like we got the 4 car coming in too. So as we said, these guys are going to start pitting early, Doug.
Yeah, we see a few of them starting to already take advantage of that pit road. You know, looks like the 03 of Bruce Turner is down on the apron too. I don't know if we maybe missed that, Kevin. Did he come down pit or not? But he's down on the apron of the coming in right there. As we see several other cars are starting to come down pit road. You know, so a lot of these guys are, you know, kind of a monkey see, monkey do, as you said. You know, they seen one car come down. They're like, all right, it's my turn. I'm gonna go in there and do the same thing. So, but looks like Turner's heading down pit road right now. I don't know if maybe he got in and got himself a speeding penalty, but he's down there on the apron and heading down pit road now.
Yeah, and you know that 03 did not look like it was carrying a whole bunch of speed coming down there. So I'm not sure if he's got some issues or he's coming in the pit. So I'm not sure what happened to the 03, but definitely was off the pace coming in. And as you know here, man, you got to get all you can get down coming into pit road, and he was kind of slow. So be interested to see what happens to the 03.
Yeah, I'm seeing, we talked about it a little bit earlier too, Kevin. That's 48 of Travis McKinney coming off of pit road right now, you know. So he was fighting up there for a long time for that lucky dog position and making some strides, you know, towards catching Louis Buffa and fighting back to get that lap the hard way. But, you know, he came in and got some tires too. So he's now shown 2 laps down. So there's a lot of shuffle on some of those cars we've been talking about throughout the night, Travis McKinney now showing his 23rd, 2 laps down. Bruce Turner 22nd, 2 laps down. So got quite a few cars who hit pit road and lost a lap or two there.
Yeah, we're looking at the 29. Man, he has fell back to 6th spot. The 06, the Partridge, he moved up into that 5th spot. Looks like the 29 struggling a little bit, or the 83 is getting a lot better. I think it's a combination of both. So, this is what I'm talking about. Deep into the fuel run, you got to know how to run this car, and you got to know when to come in and when to stay out. You don't want to get caught with your pants down, out here running around, running a second and a half slower than these other cars, because you'll find yourself in jeopardy of going more than just a one lap down. So you got to play it smart. It's nice to come out there and lead a lap to get a point for the championship points and stuff. But you got to know when to come in too, especially when you got all these guys on 4 tires.
Yeah, a lot of these guys who are out there on 4 tires. So this is where it's going to get interesting too, Kevin. You got a lot of these cars who are out there, they're out here now on these fresh tires, so they're going to be running a lot faster speeds than what these guys are on the older tires. So this is where you start getting into interesting situations. And if you're a driver with those 4 fresh tires, you got to be extremely careful, because you're going to have such a closing rate now on these guys with old tires. You really got to watch their line well before you get there to make sure you don't, run them over getting into the corner, because now is when you kind of get into that time that you'll see a lot of exciting, close mishaps.
Yeah, exactly. 64 coming off of pit road there. This, like you said, it's interesting that we had a nice long green flag run right here. We had guys typically that could run probably 9-10 laps longer, and they're like, I need to come in now. If I'm the leaders right now, like you said, Doug, there's 4 tires. I question how long you want to stay out, because, like you said, you will lose that time on the track. So as we see the 83 coming in right now, so I mean these guys pretty much know. Okay, I wanted to run a full fuel run, but I'm not going to be able to. These guys are forcing my hand. And, you just can't stay out there that long. You want to, but, this tires make you feel like Superman, so, these guys are going to drive right to the front. You're talking probably a second a lap difference in times between old tires and new tires at this point of the race. So you don't want to get caught out there too long, that's for sure.
I've been kind of looking back up here towards the front there, Kevin, but one of the things I did notice while we've been watching some of the action there on pit road, and some of the guys are a little further back in the pack, as Lewis Bussa has moved up now. He's getting ready to put Justin Barton in that 32 machine a lap down. But just ahead of them in that number 7 car, Howard Wilders, we discussed earlier, if that guy is on pressure tires, and, that guy has now been able to get around Lewis Bussa and put about, I'd say, 2 to 3 seconds, it looks like, on Lewis Bussa. So he put himself back into the 1 lap down position. And if he could catch a caution here, in the next 10, 15 laps, it might be played right into Wilders' favor here.
Yeah, and as we were sitting there talking, Doug, the 03, we said we thought he might have a problem. He has pulled it behind the garage. Not sure if they're doing repairs on that car or what, but we know that something was off on that car, and that's just proof of it right there.
Yeah, it's definitely, he definitely wasn't showing a whole lot of speed out there, as we documented there a little bit earlier, Kevin. Looks like actually came on the pit road, and came back around. He didn't have a whole lot of speed in that car. So looks like maybe something went wrong in that engine tonight. So unfortunate incident for that 03 of Bruce Turner. But unfortunately, Bruce Turner has, defending champion from the Cup Series from last year. He is definitely not had the luck. Whoa, Lewis Bussa about lost it coming down on the pit road right there, Kevin.
Yes, he did. And that's what we were talking about pit road, getting on here. Man, he had his hand full right there.
Yeah, it looked like he definitely misjudged that pit road entrance and the way that car bounced off onto the apron right there. But yeah, going back to Bruce Turner, he definitely has not had the chase he's been looking for, and not had the success and luck that he had last year in the chase.
Yeah, it's just like in Real Cup. In NASCAR, Keselowski went on that torrid pace there at the end of last year and won. It's hard to repeat, man. Doug, everybody's gunning for you. when you were out there before and you had that little bit of a fender on somebody and they say, oh man, go ahead. When you're the champion coming in, man, there's no love. You got to race hard every lap. It's hard to repeat, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's one thing to win a championship. It's another thing to, go out there and repeat. We've only got one active driver out here, who has been able to repeat, and that's at 27 of Dale Reynolds, who right now, having a very good run, still in third position. So, he's one of the only guy we have still active drivers who's been a repeat champion out here. He's got, 2 championships. I think it was 2009 and 2010 that he was champion. So as a student of 34 of Ben Britton, he's relinquishing the lead, heading down pit road. Looks like he stayed out there to lead that one lap. Now he's heading down pit road and had a real good entrance there, Kevin.
Yeah, and it's really, like you said, heck of a save getting on the pit road there. By the time this all cycles around, we're going to see, what if the 3 gained or he lost. He had about a 4-second lead on second place when he came in before, and now it looks like it's about 3.7, so he's basically picked up right where he left off. But we're going to see, with these changes, he's by himself, he's in clean air, and we'll see if he can run away with this, and his guys can run him down.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the pit roads as everything cycled through there. It doesn't look like there was a whole lot of gainers, but I tell you one that did gain quite a few positions is that number 4 of Dennis Wright. Looks like he picked up about 5 or 6 positions on his pit strategy. So Dennis Wright moves up now into the top 5, running in 4th place, and that 87 too of Kevin Kelly Jr. We haven't talked a lot about him. The way the pit cycle broke out, he winds up coming out in 5th. So good pit strategy that those two had going on.
Yeah, I think they noticed that some of these guys, Doug, were staying out on these old tires, and they figured they'd just come in with 10 laps left of fuel and get in here and let those guys run around. And that's what I was saying, as we see the 87 give a spot out here to the 16. But you know what? He made the easiest track position that he could, Doug, and that was on pit road. He didn't have to race anybody for it. He didn't have to run against the wall, take a chance to damage his car. Those guys right there, even the 16, made a smart call. They came on. They knew those guys were going to stay out. They took advantage of the lap time difference, and they passed them on pit road. They didn't have to worry about getting themselves in bad situations. So, we'll see them drop back a little bit in the fuel run because, they'll have like 10, 15 lap older tires. But it's worth it on that track position for sure.
Yeah, that's one of the things too right there, Kevin, is you hear drivers talk about it all the time. Pit crew doing a good job. Hey, those, like you said, are the easiest positions you can make up. If you run your pit strategy just right, you can definitely pick up some positions, out there on the track. And, like you said, easiest position you're going to make up. You ain't got to race with nobody. You ain't got to fight for nobody for position. So, that's always as a driver, if I can take up about 5 positions and not actually have to even get around another car, I'm a happy driver about that, Kevin. But
that's it. And the thing is, like I said, you got to really question those guys who just stayed out there. They're probably banking on a caution, but you gotta just sit there and let your crew chief make decisions for you and say, look, I'm not really agreeing with this. I'm not feeling it, but I got to do it. But you can understand why they tried to stay out. They're trying to catch a lucky break. But if you're getting ready to go a lap down, you're a lap down anyway. Your chassis is probably way off. So I'm not sure that was a smart move by some of those guys just staying out.
Yeah, and one of the things I was noticing too, Kevin, looks like that 03 of Bruce Turner has brought it back out onto the track right now, but still doesn't have a lot of speed in that car. So just a note that he has got back out there. He's trying to run a few laps and try to keep that car at minimum speed. But I tell you what, Kevin, let's take a quick break here, get some quick commercial break knocked out, get back here with some live racing action. We got 70 laps down here at Kansas Motor Speedway here in Kansas City, Kansas, and we're running it tonight. Friends Healthcare 400, so stay tuned for this quick commercial break. And welcome back to Kansas Motor Speedway here in Kansas City, Kansas for tonight's running of the Friends Healthcare Services 400 presented by NuffWORLD TV here. So, one of the notes we talked about, Kevin, before we go into break was that 03 of Bruce Turner. He just does not have any speed here. It looks like he's only able to maintain about 125 to 140 mile an hour most of the time.
That's it. And I'm telling you what, Doug, I'm back here, and there is a knot back here with the 88, the 32, the 06, the 04, the 16, and the 23, man. They're racing like it's Talladega.
Yeah, that looks like some pack racing going on right there, Kevin. Yeah, you could throw a blanket under about 6 cars right there. And look right behind them, Jeremy Enix at 29 is trying to join the fray, too.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are going at it, Doug. I mean, gosh, I mean, look at it. I mean, you got some lap-down cars with some lead lap cars, and they are getting after it, and the 29 is loving it. He's pulling all that draft. The 88 almost got clipped right there. Great action right here at Kansas, I tell you. These guys are not laying down for nothing, and they're still knotted up, Doug.
Yeah, they still haven't settled this. Ed Wilson is currently the front guy in that pack, but as you can see, Frankie Samato, Brian Lee, Jeremy Enix, they're all right there in it, and even the new guy, Rob Partridge right there, that 06, he's showing he's got some strength here. So, these guys are, that top 5 position, that shows just what it's worth to these guys right now to be going at it this hard this early in the race, Kevin.
That's it. And as we think we're going to, and the 04 almost come across the nose of the 32, we've got one big pack here going down into turn 3, Doug, and this is crazy right here.
Yeah, there's cars on the high side, cars on the low side. These guys are fighting it out, and I'm telling you, it looks like they're, just like you said, Kevin, it looks like we're at Daytona or Talladega somewhere there, with these guys nose to tail drafting each other.
Yeah, they are crazy. I mean, you've got old tires and new tires. The 12 slides way up and lets the 06 go there. I don't think he had a choice in the matter. But, man, just great racing. And actually the loser out of all that is going to be the 06. The 29 and the 16 slid by, and the 32, man, look at him, and the 06 almost just lost it with 3 wide again with the 12, the 08, and the 06. So this is what I was talking about with the strategies here, Doug. I mean, some of these guys, we're out here with 15, 16, maybe even 20 lap older tires, and you got these guys that just came in, and they've only got like 10, 12 laps on their tires. And they're going at it, man. We're talking about where the rubber meets the road, but this is crazy.
Yeah, like we said a little bit earlier there before the commercial break, like you said, we've got guys out there with old tires. We've got guys out there with new tires. There's different pit strategies being played out. And, you've got to be careful if you're one of those guys on the new tires, because just like what we were seeing right there, you're going to have such a closing rate on these guys with older tires. You really got to be careful just as much as the guy with the older tires. You got to be careful and try to anticipate where you may want to go, because, at this early point of the race, Kevin, if you're on older tires than some of these other guys and they got that kind of closing speed, the best thing you can really do to maintain your car to save your chances of bringing something home here tonight is just try to get the heck out of the way as quick as possible.
That's it. And I'm going to tell you, a car to keep an eye on, Doug, is the 06. He is running that line that the 5 was running when he spun out. If you look, he's just above the preferred line there. The 88 slides up the hill. What you're doing is you're making that right rear tire very, very mad at you right now. We saw him almost lose it a while ago, and he gathered it back up. But that car looks ornery, and it looks like the tail end of that car just wants to kick out any time there. He's just, steadily getting. The guys are just gaining on him like crazy in the back. So he's losing a lot of time off the center, from the center off. And that's the first time right there I've seen him get down low and run, but most of it's been up above. I'm not really sure if that car is underneath him right now, but if he keeps making that right rear angle, we're going to be seeing him on a highlight reel.
Yeah, I think his car may have, Kelly, went a bit to the tight side there. As I hear John Lawler is up against the wall down there in 1 and 2. So, but he looks like he's went a little bit to the tight side there. And like you said, he's going to get up there, he's going to tighten this thing up, and it's going to heat up that right rear. But it looks like he's been able to hold it down there over the last couple of laps. But, yeah, he's definitely been going in the wrong direction here over these last 10 laps or so, Kevin, as Lucas, Frankie Tomato, Jeremy Enix, Bradley, a lot of those guys that have been able to get around him during all that we were watching, have been able to put a second to 2 seconds on him during that time.
Yeah, and someone we were just talking about that was running around here about 150 mile an hour wide open. The 03 looks like he's back up to speed, not sure what was going on with that car. He's 18 laps down. That's going to be a lot to make up. So he's just in it right now for pride and just trying to get the best finish he can. Hope some of these guys in front have bad luck, try to get a good finish. But we'll try to figure out what was wrong with that car, but he's up to speed now.
Yeah, I'm hearing Kevin from down on pit road that 03 was having some troubles with the ECU down there. Just wasn't getting fired to a couple of cylinders. Was running around here on 6, 7 cylinders. So that'll explain a lot of why it was so slow. But they've been able to get several pit stops, lost quite a few laps, but they've been able to swap those boxes over. And now you see that car is back up to speed and running well. So. Unfortunate break though for the 03 tonight. Having those issues has dropped him, like you said, about 16 laps or so down. But I don't think there's a chance he's going to be able to make that up tonight. But he's out here now to get salvage what he can out of the night.
Yeah, Doug, seeing the 7 car behind the wall, he had damage early and was fighting, to try to get some laps back. Don't know what happened to that car unless he sustained further damage, but it looks like he's pulled it behind the wall. Don't know if we'll see him anymore tonight. So that night just started out really, really bad for the 7, spinning out in the first 15, 20 laps and damaging that car, trying to battle back. But, we've stayed green flag the whole time, Doug, and I don't think anybody on this track thought that we were going to have this. They thought that, we'd be seeing, some caution. But, looking at the window right now, we're probably looking around 113 or so. Where green flag stops if we're going to, keep going green here. Really surprised this race has stayed green this whole time. Like I said, this place is hard on motors. It's hard on tires, especially that right rear and that right front. But these guys are laying down a blistering pace right now. Looks like a race record as far as we keep going. As the number 3 car is stretched out to a 5.6 second lead over the second place car. So I'm sure these guys in the top 5 or something say, hey, man, we need a caution. Come in, we'll dial these things in a little bit more, and we'll race this 3.
Yeah, I think, the ones that are really scratching their heads, like you talked about there, Kevin, too, is these crew chiefs sitting down on pit road, You talk about the drivers, probably weren't expecting, this thing to go green for this amount of laps right now. I don't think the crew chiefs were either, and they are now scrambling, to make changes quicker, as they're not going to have as many chances, at this rate to make the changes on those cars if they want to. So they're going to have to make a lot more aggressive changes if this thing stays green and continues to go at this pace than what they normally would. So I think you'll see some guys here, in the next, pit stop, maybe the one after. But we'll start seeing a lot looser race cars. These guys are trying to dial these things in to get some speed to catch that number 3 machine.
Yeah, and I'm sitting back here looking at 21st, right behind the 23 of Frankie Tomato. The 08 Danny Gutierrez got a good car. He must be just kicking himself in the head, saying, we couldn't get this thing started for the start of the race. That's okay, I'll get it back. He's showing right now, Doug, he's as fast as the leaders, but he's stuck in 21st position trying to make those laps up, and he just can't catch a break. So bad break for the 08 to begin this race.
Yeah, very bad break. And like you said, Danny was probably guessing for a caution as, looking back historically here at Kansas Motor Speedway, we usually got a couple of cautions within the first 50 laps or so. And then, things tend to sort themselves out and get that long green flag there in the middle. So, I'm sure Danny was probably thinking, historically speaking, this thing's going to get a couple of cautions those first 50 laps. I'm going to be able to, get myself back in the hunt from that. But now finds himself, 92 laps into this thing, not a single caution yet, and showing 2 laps down, unfortunately, for Denny. And, there's nothing more frustrating as a driver than being out there in a car that has a lot of speed, is getting around the track good, but you're just not fighting anybody for position because of a bad luck, things that happen at the very beginning of the race couldn't get that thing fired up. And, you're out there now just hoping and praying the cars swing your way because you got a good car. And that's just so frustrating for Danny.
Yeah, and he's doing the smart thing right here. You know, he could be pushing the issue, trying to get up here, you know, and get by these guys. One, you know, he can save his tires, pull on the draft a little bit here, and try to get himself in position. You know, the second thing is you know, he's got everything in front of him. He doesn't have to worry about really battling anybody. I'm not sure. I think he might be. Nope, he's pretty far back for the lucky dog. He's actually 2 laps down. So, like you said, very frustrating. It's got to be a very frustrating time for him, knowing that he's got a car that fast. I'm sure he thought he would have a caution by now, as we all thought we would have a caution. But, you know, the only way I think he's going to be able to make these back is maybe short pitting, you know, and try to, you know, get an advantage with tires. Because I'll tell you, this has got long green flag written all over it.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, Kevin, I'm sitting here looking on pit road. Looks like we may have the start of the next cycle already. Dennis Jenkins, that 28 machine, is coming off of pit road and coming up to speed right now. And, you know, if we see what we typically see there, especially the last go-around, you know, once that first car pits, it's like the whole gate opens up, you know. So Dennis Jenkins already made his second pit stop tonight on the green flag, currently showing 3 laps down as he's getting up to speed. So I would probably guess to say you're going to see some more cars start hitting pit road here in the near future.
Yeah, you know, just checking over the 87 pit, they got like 25 laps of fuel left. Not sure what kind of strategy they're going to pull. They were one of those guys that pitted earlier. So this is probably about that part of the race where, again, these guys thought, you know, we're going to get a caution here and get a chance to work on these cars and tighten this field back up. But I'm telling you, as we look, the 3-car pulled 6.013 seconds on second place. He's just pulling away. I know you didn't hear the broadcast at the beginning. We're talking about his teammate, the 33. Maybe he doesn't need that 33 to help him. Maybe he should sit and stay on his own.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like it's a one-man show up there with Lewis tonight, and we talked about that. Like you say, you know, that 33 not being here, not having a friend per se with that little bit of draft, that would give him that little bit more advantage, you know, here. But Lewis says, you know, he pretty much took matters into his own hands. Said, hey, you know, it's mine to win or lose right now, and if Lewis keeps this pace up and has a mistake-free race tonight, he's really going to pull away with that points lead, and it's just going to be almost ungodly for these guys to even try to catch him.
Yeah, you know, we're at the mercy right now of the 3-car that basically the field is. They're kind of like, oh my God, you know, we got them right where we want, but you know, it's like you know, it's like trapping an animal, a wild animal in a corner, Doug. You know they're going to fight. They're not going to lay there. They're going to fight to come out. So, you know, he knows he's got the whole field stacked up against him. He knows second place in points is not here. That's going to knock him back, and that's probably going to move 3 or 4 drivers up in the second place, you know, closer to the points with him. So he's figuring, look, I got to go out. I got to try to lead the most laps. I got to try to get the W. And most important, just finish the race. He knows if he comes out of here with anything, you know, like maybe a 10th place on back, that it's really, really going to tighten it up. So I think he's got a 9-point lead, I believe it is, Doug, over the second place as we come in here. I'm sure that's changed now as the 33 is not being able to make the race. But like I said, he's got to stand on it, and he knows he's got to stand on it.
Yeah, just because, you know, he knows, like you said, Kevin, just because that 33 is here is not his chance to lay down and kind of take it easy. You know, he's got to be able to make max points tonight and, you know, kind of pad that lead as much as he can. So, you know, we've discussed it, you know, about all these guys in the chase right now have had that one mulligan, as we like to talk about. You know, they've had that, you know, they've had that bad race where they've had an incident happen or they've got behind the 8 ball, so to speak, you know, at the beginning of the race. And, you know, as they always say, that, you know, the shoes on the other foot. Lewis, so far, has been the one driver, him and Bando, who haven't seen that so far, that one little stint of bad luck where they've had that bad finish. So, you know, if he can pad that lead here, you know, that's his chance that, you know, if he has that bad run or has that, you know, little gremlin pop up, then, you know, he's got that little bit of cushion to work with.
Yes, we're on board with a 3. I mean, just look at him, Doug. He's not fighting the car anywhere. He's perfect getting into the corner. He's perfect through the center. and it's darn near perfect getting off. So he's got this car set up, really, really good all the way around the racetrack. Don't see any weakness in this car whatsoever. The only weakness that I've seen, which has plagued him in the past, was pit road, and we almost seen him lose it, get on pit road the last pit stop. So I think if he's got any issue tonight, Doug, and that might be his biggest competition right there.
Yeah, pit road is definitely, it's been one of the more challenging times for Lewis so far this year and throughout this chase. We've documented several times, pit road has been the one thing that has slowed Lewis down, that has hurt him, and probably I think the only time we've seen Lewis actually a lap down throughout the chase this year has been because of that exact scenario right there, Kevin, trying to get on and off pit road. He didn't, mess it up there, I think it was Chicago, and spun it out. So, that's has been the one time we've seen him a lap down here. And, unfortunately, he's able to, well, fortunately for Lewis, unfortunately for the other racers, he's been able to battle himself, back into, contention in that race due to some lucky dogs and such. So, came away with a real good finish. But you got to wonder, that sometime there's got to be a bad race, for Lewis. But so, like we said earlier, Kevin, this is the one time he's got to be able to pad that position.
Hey, Doug, even Superman had a weakness, and that was kryptonite. So, anything can happen, man. He's been the dominant car. That's no question. But, it's not out of the realm of a possibility that anything can happen to this car. It's a machine, and like we know, machines break down. You can be at the mercy of a mechanical breakdown. It's just, the other guys, you see the 3 come up here on the 64, gives them room. Basically, it's just up to the other guys to try to capitalize on that. So it looks like we got the 29 in the 04 coming to pit road. Nope, they're battling on the track. Middle misinformation there from pit road. But those guys are going on it. And we're coming up on, I would say we're probably coming up around 6 laps from those pit stops, though.
Yeah, I'm hearing across the radio on the here, Kevin, that a lot of these guys are starting to make their calls on pit road, what they're going to do with the cars. But I had a pretty good little battle to go in there for about 5 laps between the 04 of Justin McLucas and 29 of Jeremy Enix, as Enix was following right in McLucas' tire tracks, putting some pressure on him for quite a few laps. And then McLucas had that one bad corner, scooted up the hill just a little bit, and Enix was able to drive that car right underneath him in the corner and come around. So put Enix up into the 3rd place position now. So Jeremy Enix definitely out here having himself a good race. He's one of the guys we talked about, during pre-race, had a win here before, so he knows how to get around this track, Kevin, but, started way back in the pack, unfortunately. Well, I don't think he started way back, but, wasn't up in that front row, so we'll be looking to Jeremy to, try to maybe, pull some strategy here soon to try to get a little bit closer up to that number 3 machine.
Yeah, he's been like a giant rubber band tonight at 29. He's been up there battling, in 3rd spot, and then he's been back to like 10th or 11th, then he's been back to 5th, he's back up to 3rd right now. So he's pretty much seen everything that you could see thrown at him right now. So it looks like he's got the car pretty well balanced out right now. I just want to show you a perfect illustration of what tires can do for you here. I mean, we're looking at the 29, the 04, and the 23. And we got the 28 just running these guys down, Doug. And this shows what 4 tires can do here for you. And if you get caught out here, staying out too late.
Yeah, and I was going to say, right there in front of that 28 machine, you got that 23 of Frankie Samato, Kevin, he's having himself a really good run out here tonight. He's had that car pretty much up in the top 5 about all night, currently running in the 5th place position. So, that's one of those, Frankie Samato, we see him a lot of times come out here, and unfortunately has that horseshoe, as we always talk about, but had himself a good run, been up there in the top 5 all night, so he's got to be loving this right now and driving with a big smile on his face. But, yeah, Jenkins, like you said, Kevin, those fresh tires, you see him making passes up there on the outside as he got around Samato right there, and looks like the 48 of Travis McKinney there, he's making some moves also. He's got some fresh tires on that car, so these 2 cars are, coming up there and disrupting this 2nd, 3rd, and 4th little pack that they had going on here. Or, I'm sorry, 3rd, 4th, and 5th little pack they had going on. as Jenkins is able to get around the 04 of McLuhan and is making moves to get around the 29 of Jeremy Enix now, as McKinney is just following right, exact opposite of what the 28 is doing. The 28 up on that high side and the 48 down on that inside, but the 48 looks like he's going to move up to that high side too. So the 28 is able to get around and do it with relative ease with those new tires, so he's going to move up there and try to use that same strategy as 28 now clears that pack.
Yeah, you see the 48 just shoot right by the 29 on the outside. He's not even going to fight that. Just shows you the difference between old tires and new tires here. I mean, he's pulling away almost at 10 car lengths on the straightaway. It's not the horsepower, it's the problem. It's the handling, it's the chassis, the tires. They love having those 4 tires on there, and they can it makes you feel like Superman right now. It's like, man, I'm just driving by on the outside. And that's what I was saying. You got to be careful about how long you stay out, because once those guys start ducking on pit road, they've already made their bed. They got to come in early, but as we've seen, we have been green flagged this whole time. A lot of people have made up positions. So, it's a fine line. You got to know when to stay out, and you got to know when to come in.
Yeah, and it looks like a lot of these guys, we talked about it a little bit earlier, Kevin, when that 28 came on the pit road, I thought there would be, quite a few more that would try that short pit strategy again, but looks like a few of them may be opting to stay out there and try to run this thing to the bare tank this time and run the tires down to the cord, so to speak, as, we haven't seen but one other car, hit pit road in the last 15 laps after, what we saw with Dennis Jenkins there, so, a lot of these guys are staying out and trying to milk it for all that they possibly can right now to try to get on that same strategy with Louis Bussa and maybe, be able to have something to happen. But I'm hearing a lot of these guys saying they can go about maybe 10 more laps as Kelly Jr. is hitting pit road now.
Yeah, it's right about where he pitted last time with probably about 10 laps of fuel left to go, so he's going to try to stay on that strategy. There's nothing wrong with that strategy. If you look at it, some people might say, well, you paint yourself in a corner, you got to come in. But the thing is, if you come in with like 10 laps more fuel, then if you have to run those 10 laps, at the end, you got them there. It's kind of like money in the bank. You got a little bit of fuel there. You might not have the tires you want, but you got that fuel to run those extra 10 laps. So as he comes out in P17 right there, he's going to blend in here with a 64 and a 48. And, this is a prime example right here. The 48, he's probably got 10 lap older tires than the 87. Guaranteed within 5 or 6 laps, the 87 is going to be knocking all over the back door of the 48. So like I said, it's so many different strategies. And I guarantee, Doug, we had a not while ago when we had all those old tires and new tires. And someplace on this track, we're going to have it again.
Yeah, and it looks like something may have happened with that 29 machine there. Jeremy Enix was real slow down on the apron. I don't know. Looks like we got a caution out there, so we got something happened out there. So that's going to mix things up quite a bit here now, Kevin.
Yes, it is. We got to have some cars stuck 1 and 2 laps down. So bad break right there. Man, that's just tough luck for some of these guys that just pitted.
But I tell you, the guys who are breathing a sigh of relief right now, if it were me, per se, is that number 27 of Dale Reynolds and that number 23 of Frankie Samanto currently running second and third. It gives them that chance to kind of reset, take a breather, and they got Louis Bussa right there in front of them once again now, rather than that 9-second lead he had almost pulled out to, prior to that happened. So, looks like it was Enix and the 04 may have got together that brought that out.
Yeah, man, the 29 had such a good car, and that's a shame to see him go out. He says, here from the pit road, he's got no damage. So, getting way lucky on that. So, hopefully he can put 4 tires back on it and get back out there and show us what he's got.
Yeah, very good break there for some of these guys, and lucky break for Enix, who, coming away with no damage. I mean, when you have that happen, looks like the 04 just had a run on him down on the inside, pushed up just a little bit into that rear quarter panel, and just barely did clip him. He spun it coming off a 4 right there down into the grass, and done a complete 360, put it, grabbed the gear, and just continued right on. So nice piece of driving right there on the part of Jeremy Enix in that 29 machine, who that was a very light tap, so he may have gotten hardly any damage out of that would slow that car down any.
Yeah, the only thing you got to be worried about with that is as we know, when you spin, you can't get your foot in on that clutch or whatever quick enough, and you spin backwards, you do a little bit of damage to that motor. So, you know, especially here, man, it's such a hanging high RPM here. So I have to keep an eye on him for the rest of the race. But all these, we got a bunch of cars that got stuck a lap down or 2 laps down coming in on all that. And you know, we said, you know, these guys are short pitting and they're making their bed and they're sleeping in it. But you know, we didn't think we'd have a caution. We thought we'd go to another green flag run again, and here it is, a caution comes out, and a bunch of these guys are going to get stuck doing wave rounds just to get back 1 lap down.
Yeah, and looks like Dale Reynolds is able to make up the position right there, Kevin, as he takes over the lead. Louis Bussa drops the position. Frankie Simonto also moving up, but a big mover right there. Chris Melton picks up 5 positions on pit road, puts himself up into the top 5 right there. So, you know, like we talked about a little bit earlier, you know, it ain't nothing better than getting those free positions when the pit crew can get you out there and pick up some positions, Kevin.
That's it. You know, pit road can be a killer or a thriller, as I like to say. You know, you get on there and you get your 4 tires and your fuel, and everything clicks, and you can get out of there with a nice, you know, 12.5, 13 second pit stop. Man, life is good. But you come in there and you get a hung lug nut or something like that, or the jack messes up, or one of your guys falls down or whatever, you can lose those spots, you know, 4 or 5 spots. Might not sound like a lot, but 1 second stuck on pit road longer than everybody else, man, that is 5 or 6 spots. So kudos to the 78 and the crew.
Yeah, they've definitely done a great job getting Melton back out there, you know, currently shown in 6th position. So picking up 5 spots on pit road, you know, you can't fight with the crew about that at any day. As we see all the lap down cars are now hitting pit road this second time around. So, you know, the chaos on pit road is still going on. A lot of these guys are getting off pit road well here tonight. So we've not seen any pit road incidents like we've seen in the past here the last few races. But it looks like we're going to have quite a few wave rounds here, Kevin, of those guys who, you know, may have gotten stuck, you know, a lap or 2 down. So we're going to have a couple of wave rounds here as we go back green this time. So in the 64, the 87, looks like the 48 of McKinney's even going to take a wave around here, as the 32 of Justin Barton, who's our lucky dog, you know, gets around right there. So lucky dog going around. We should be going back green here pretty soon.
Yeah, and you know what? We're going to have, looks like 4 cars are going to be a lap down. We're going to have 3 cars 2 laps down, 1, 3, another 8, and the 03 is going to be 18 down. So we got 4 cars here looking at 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th are going to be battling for that lucky dog. So that might be the best race on the track, not alone the leaders.
Yeah, I'm kind of noticing here, Kevin, as we get the 1 to go here, I see that 03 of Bruce Turner ducking off and heading down the pit road. I got to kind of wonder, is he having some troubles once again, maybe?
Yeah, you know, he's 18 laps down. It's looked like, you know, it's a bad night. You know, you're riding around out there, you got to fulfill your sponsor obligations and stuff like that. You got to wonder, like you said, if he's having issues again. Could be running scuffs for his teammates, too. You never know. So we have seen that happen in the past. But, you know, he's actually, I think we have, yeah, he's the last car that is running currently, unless the 7 or the 5 can make it back. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to make it back. So as of right now, you know, he's going to finish right there in 23rd unless a lot happens. Long way to go, but a long night for sure.
Yeah, but as the field is double file now coming into turn 3 here. Let's set up your top 10 for you real quick. You know, of course, you got the first place out there, Dale Reynolds, that number 27 machine, alongside Louis Bussa running second. In third, you'll have Frankie Simonto. Fourth, Justin McLucas. Fifth, you'll have Chris Melton. Sixth is Jeremy Enix. Seventh will be Brian Lee. Eighth, Rod Partridge. Ninth, Charles Chapman. And 10th, Darren Bend. That'll be how they line up the top 10, you know, as we get ready to go green here. So as they're coming out of turn 4, we're going to see the green flag here in the air in just a second.
I think it's very important for the 27 to get out and get in that clean air and try to pull away, you know, and try to get that 3. He gets a really good start right here, the 78, pushing the 23, Coming into turn 1, wow, gets really tight between the 3 and the 23 right there. 78 couldn't get to that hole. The 3 fills it. He's in third. And the 27 wants to see some double file racing behind so he can try to pull away. We haven't seen the 27 out front all night long. We're going to see what he can do with the lead.
Yeah, it looked like on that restart, Lewis Bussa may have been caught napping just for a second there, Kevin, and allowed that to really pull out there and get it. And Frankie Samato, wasn't giving up the speed right away, but Melton made sure, that he got up to speed quickly right there. He laid the bumper on and, got him up to speed really quick. But Melton falls back in line there in the 5th place position as Lewis Bussa is looking under the 23 of Frankie Samato already.
Gosh, I'll tell you what, 9th, 10th, and 11th back here was just almost, we almost got our caution, Doug. Those guys, I'll tell you what, they were a mess. The 15 to 83 to 24, man, they were all knotted up on a backstretch there. Made it through, but man, we almost had a quickie caution right there.
Yeah, it's, one of the guys kind of back there in that bunch that you were talking about, that 83 of Timmy St. Jean, qualified on the pole tonight, Kevin, just looks like he hasn't really been able to find a handle on that car under green flag conditions. He's showing back here in 10th right now, so it looks like, he may have missed the setup a bit tonight.
Yeah, and it sucks when you're out there and you're running and you think you've got a good setup and you've worked all week on it, and next thing you get here and the track is just totally changed or something on the setup changed. So you hate to see that, especially as much time these guys put in. Looking at a battle here with 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th, actually. These guys were going at it. And that 06 has basically been stuck right there in that 7th position. Really, his car before, man, looked really, really loose. So very interested to see what changes the 06 made on his car. And the 29, it don't look like he's got any signs of damage on his car, Doug. He just rides by the 16 right there to start finish line.
Yeah, he is definitely, that car is still underneath him, still fast as he's pulling up on that 04 of McLucas here. He's starting to make some pace and making up some time on McLucas, who's currently running in that 4th place position. So, at this point of the race too, Kevin, if you've got a fast car, you've got to try to make up as much time as you possibly can on that lead group right now, as Frankie Samato has been able to put himself out there in front, and he's been able to pull away now, it looks like, from Lewis Bussa. So that's kind of a surprise, what we've seen earlier, throughout the night so far, as Dale Reynolds has now fell back into 3rd, but Frankie Samato is leading this thing, and Lewis Bussa is trying to chase him down now.
Yeah, and the 27 car just didn't look like it was real stable out front. He's probably got that thing set up from the middle to the back end of a fuel run. I think that's the first lap that he's led tonight, so he's probably just lucky to get up there and lead one of those championship points. The 3, his car still looks pretty good. Like you said, the 23, very surprised that he was able to get out there, and we'll have to keep an eye on him and see, just what kind of lap times he's running, and if he can pull away from these guys. We saw the 3 get out front and get that clean air and pull away. As we look at the other guys behind the 3, you got the 27, the 04, the 29, Doug, they were going at it.
Yeah, these guys, they're looking for every position. And we talked about earlier, these guys have got to make all the positions they possibly can right now. They've got to get up there as quickly as they can as they come across the line here. Right now, Frankie Samato is definitely not the fastest car on the track, even though he may be leading. So looks like Dale Reynolds, having a good lap there, but Justin McLucas, right now, him and Rod Partridge are the top 2 on the speed charts right now as they cross the line there that time by.
Yeah, and it looks like they're actually making some ground up on the 3, staying single file like that. This is the first time, Doug, that we've seen the 3 maybe just a little bit out of place right now. He's by no means is his car slow, but I would say that, out of all these fuel runs we've had, that probably this is the most vulnerable his car has looked. You'd like to see the 27 and the 04 get up there and mix it up with him and see what he can do in the dirty air, but 23's up front, man, hanging tough.
You know, one of the things we kind of talked about, we talked about it way early in the race, well over 100 laps ago, Kevin, but, you know, we alluded to that 27, he started on the lead here, you know, but, you know, we alluded to it on that very first start of the race, you know, that 27 didn't seem like that car really came in and, you know, took off until about 20 laps into that first fuel run, so, you know, that might be something that we look to see, you know, happen here once again, and if he can keep close enough to Louis Bussa here, you know, for this first 15, 20 laps of the run, he might be able to make a run at him before this is all over with.
That's it. A man on a mission, Doug, is the 29. He drove around the outside of the 16 and the 04. Power move by the 29, so definitely no damage done on that car. He is driving like his hair is on fire.
Yeah, and he's starting to put a little distance between those cars now as he's, you know, looking at Dale Reynolds right there in front of him, that 27 too, so Jeremy's definitely wanting to get back up there in that lead pack where he was at a little bit earlier before that caution came out, you know. So, as you said, Kevin, I don't see no damage on that car. It still looks pretty racy from here.
That's it. Looking at the 3, he's creeping the 23 back in. The 23 looks a little bit better off of the corner. The 3 looks a little bit better getting in, as you see right here, going down in the corner. He's running a little bit different line than the 23, and he's able to make up his time, it looks like, on the entry of the corner. 23, like I said, looks a little bit better off. But the 3 is definitely making up ground on the 23. It's just, you know, inches at a time. The 27 actually looks like he's doing pretty good, too. But that 3 car, Louis Bussa, is just getting into the corner a lot better than the 23 is.
Yeah, it looks like he's about, you know, a half a tenth quicker per lap right there, you know, than what Samanto is in that 23. So, you know, as I'm hearing the 28 had a self-spin out there, may have lost the rear end on that car for just a second. But Bussa, you know, pulling up now, that 3 car is right on the back bumper getting in the corner of that 23 right there. Looks like there may have been just a little tap right there as they got into the corner, but these guys keep it clean and keep it moving.
That's it. 3's car is like, hey, 23, Mr. Samato, you've led long enough. I need to come up here and get this lead as he drives it down in the turn. About the middle of the door to 23 here. And he's at the advantage right now. He can carry this speed right through here. The best thing the 23 can do is once he gets to a point where you know he's there, you don't want to lose a bunch of spots. As we see right here, Doug, prime example. These guys get side-by-side racing. And what does it do? It pulls the 27 and the 29 right up here. So the longer they fight, the more, you know, they're going to lose. And the 23, I think, saw that and just ducked right in the line.
Yeah, as he ducks right in line, though, look how close that pack is. We got a 5-car pack. Once again, now, Kevin, you know, those 5 guys are pretty much nose to tail right there. As Frankie Samato gets a good run coming back on the inside and pulls to the inside of Louis Bussa now, fighting for the lead once again.
That's it. And they're door-to-door, almost touching, Doug. And that's what you got to be careful with talking about that 23. You get loose down on the inside like that, it will suck that car around. And the 27 is like, hey, guys, you keep doing this crap. I'm going to drive right up in here, and you guys can take each other out, and I'm going to drive right on by. But right now, the 23 is in a very dangerous position on the racetrack, if you ask me.
Yeah, it looks like he had just a heck of a run coming down on that, coming down the front stretch that last lap, and, you know, carried that speed right down in the corner. May have been just a little bit more, just as you see it right there. He's a little tight there in the center. But, you know, that 27, Dale Reynolds, you know, he's sitting back there this whole time, looking at Frankie making a run on the inside, looking at Louis fight back on the outside, and, you know, he's wondering which way to go, because, you know, he wants to, whichever one prevails in that lead, he wants to, you know, definitely follow that line 3.
Yeah, these guys, just great racing. And look at it, Doug. We got a snake coming down the front stretch. They're all sucked right back up into each other. And great racing. And we got a nice line of cars here. And these guys are not rolling over by any means.
Yeah, and if you look, Kevin, with all that fighting going on, look right behind them. That's allowed Partridge and Chris Melton to also join this fray, you know. So we got 7 cars right there in this lead pack now. So, you know, it could get interesting, you know, as these guys, you know, fighting out for position. They start getting too wide once again. They're going to start drawing even more of that pack, as it started out as a 4-car field, and now we got a 7-car pack all of a sudden.
That's it. Now the 29 slides right underneath the 27. Tight move there. 27 had to move up. Give him the line there. There's a 16 You know how it is when you're stuck on the outside. You got a lot of cars. You're going to go straight to the back as the 04 is going to try to slide right in there and take it. So Dale Reynolds, went from running third. Now he's hanging around fourth and fifth and in danger of dropping back to like sixth or seventh spot. So the man on the move, though, is the 29. He's watching what the 23 has done with the 3. Maybe he's had a chance to figure out the 3's weakness as the 23 has done. So, if these guys can hang on here and keep the 3 right here where it's at, they can figure out a way to get around this guy.
Yeah, and as you were talking there, talk about a man making another power move. That 04 and the 78 also now working him over of McLucas and also Chris Melton. They are passing on the outside of that 16 car. So these guys are, showing they got some power too up there on that outside line, and now they are, these two have moved themselves up into the 5th and 6th place position. So McLucas now looking at, that 27, trying to get up there to him, catch that little bit of draft and pull up on his bump.
Yeah, it's what have you done for me lately? Basically, you look and 23, shows people, look, the 3 is vulnerable. I mean, you can get up there, you can race him. So it gives hope to these other guys. They're like, oh my God, he's going to run away with this race. We're not going to be able to do anything. But Doug, the 23 at this point and the 29 to me look just as strong as the 3 in this opening, these early laps of this fuel run right here. The thing is, you don't want to let him get away. So you got to race smart. You've got to stay in line. If you get the opportunity to power pass a guy, then do it. But basically, I think these guys are pretty smart in what they're doing, trying to stay single file, using the draft a little bit to their advantages. Lap traffic could definitely, the 23 hit the apron and kind of upset the car. Wow, he's on the apron again. 23 saves it, comes back in front of the, oh wow, what a save by the 23. That was close, Doug. Lap traffic, we called it.
Yeah, very nice job, Frankie Samato, saving that car right there. That thing was in a slow spin for the biggest most of that corner. And everyone else around Frankie had to check up due to that. And unfortunately for the rest of those guys, Enix and Reynolds especially, it broke apart that 7-car pack we were just talking about a little bit earlier. But it's allowed Lewis Buster to pull out to a half a second lead now. So all the work these guys have done to keep Lewis Buster right there, close by. They've got some work to do once again as we got a caution out on the track. So I hear we got a caution, Kevin.
Hey, some of these guys, this is what they were banking on, that caution. And it looks like the 87 is going to be the lucky dog there. So he lucked out. Good little strategy from those guys is I believe Buster has the replay up of what happened there, Doug.
Yeah, I'm hearing it involved I'm hearing traffic across the radio is involved the 54 of Charles Chapman, who we really haven't talked a whole lot about tonight. He's been kind of hanging around about mid-pack, having himself a pretty good run overall tonight. But unfortunate break there throughout the night. But we had a good battle going on there for quite some time there. So these guys up front, had a good battle going on for quite a while. We got the replay up there. It looks like Chapman, just lost the rear end right there, getting through the center, getting down into the corner and through the center, just kind of. Same thing we saw a little bit earlier from Howard Wilkins. That rear end just kind of came around with him, and no contact involved. It got in there, and that rear end came loose as he dove down to the inside to get around the 64, and it went right around and done a 180 and put that driver's side door right into the wall. It's like almost identical to what we saw with that 7-car earlier tonight, Kevin.
Yeah, and I'm watching the track temps, Doug, and they're creeping up, and when the temperature starts going up, the track gets nice and greasy and slick. And if you were a little bit tight before, the big thing you want to do is, well, how big of a swing do I need to make this thing loose on the long run? And sometimes you can get yourself in trouble, by grabbing that wrench and sticking it in the right window and jacking that track bar up just a little bit. Not sure if that's what happened there, but definitely, like you said, looks like the same thing that happened to the 7-car.
Yeah, and it looks like the biggest most of these leaders, Kevin, is we talk about that, are heading right down pit road. But track temperature now up around 95 degrees, so it's rose about 15 degrees since we got things started here. But looks like that 15 car of Darren Benz is going to stay out, take advantage of a lap led there to get that bonus point, Kevin. But you know, a lot of these guys are opting for tires right now, and just like you said, a lot of these guys are opting to throw that wrench, you know, down into that back window. Looks like you know, Jeremy Enix looks like he's going to be the first one off of pit road. Second place,
great,
second one off.
Great stop by the 29, man. I tell you, looked really, really fast coming off there. Was worried about him speeding. If we see him make the left turn to pit road, we'll know exactly what happens. But I'm going to tell you, Doug, if there's someone that we've seen that's had a really fast car, the 29's been one of them. He might be one of these guys that can get out there and get a lead. And we know the talent that the 29 has. Jeremy is a very talented driver here at the VSU Cup. So if he can get out there and get that car in clean air and take off, man, he could be something to reckon with.
You know, one of the things I have noticed on the last two pit cycles, actually, Kevin, with these last two cautions is, you know, Lewis Butler's got that second pit stall tonight. That's something he's, you know, typically got that first stall where he can come out. And it seems like these guys behind him, that time, you know, being Jeremy Enix, last time being Dale Reynolds, are able to swing out there. They got no car right in front of them. They're able to, you know, swing out to that very far right lane there coming off pit road and carry speed out a lot better than what Lewis is able to get out of his box because, you know, he's got Timmy St. Jean right there in front of him. It seems like, you know, Lewis is having just a little more trouble getting out of the pit box there from that second pit stall.
Yeah, and you know, it looks like the 29 did get a speeding penalty on that, Doug. I was kind of worried that he was going to get nailed with that. You know, got a little greedy and got a speeding penalty. So not sure what happened, or it looks like he's changing tires. So not sure what's going on with the 29. Not sure if he had a loose wheel or a penalty and decided to come in and just go ahead and top it off or whatever. But I do believe if he could have got out front, I believe he could have led some laps for a long time here. Had a very strong car.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, with Jeremy, you know, he got that drive-through penalty for speeding on pit road, got caught right there at the end, Kevin. But, you know, coming in here, all the cars that are on pit road right now are lapped down, so he's going to lose no more position by changing, you know, 4 tires than what he lost, you know, just coming down pit road with the drive-through penalty. So I think he just took advantage to go ahead and just get 4 fresh tires, you know, go ahead and make sure that tank is good and full, and maybe try to pull a little strategy there, you know, with fuel mileage.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you know, people might say, well, you know, if you see the 87 taking a lucky dog here, I think in position 13 back on the lead lap. But, you know, the 29, he's got nothing to lose, Doug. It's like you said, he's going to come in. Yeah, he might only ran a lap out there on those tires or whatever, but you know what? Kick those things off, put 4 brand new ones on it, top it off, and you can run just a little bit longer than those guys. It might not be much, but you know what? Tires is everything here. And, you know, track position goes along with that too, but we've seen what kind of a car he's got. So I have no doubt in my mind he will carve himself through this field and get back up inside, you know, the top 5. It may take a little bit to just get there, but pretty sure as we see the 4 car there on pit road, he's going to make it. He's going to be all right, but lesson learned there, not to speed on pit road, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing about it too, Kevin. We talk about pit road penalties a lot of times, you know. But if you're going to make a pit road penalty like that and get caught speeding, you know, it's better to do it early part of the race or middle part, like where we're at right now, especially if you're on the lead lap. I mean, we've got close to 120 laps still to go right now, so there's plenty of time for Jerry to be able to make up that time, you know. So that's the good thing for Jeremy, you know, getting caught, you know, had he been, you know, the last 30 laps, it might have been a different story, but he's got plenty of time to make that up right now.
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, he's you know, we're 100 and mostly almost 150 laps into this race of 267. So he's got time. You know, there's that thing of lap traffic and lap down cars with damage and stuff like that you got to watch for. So as long as he's patient, he should be fine. He'll move right through this field.
Yeah, we had Ed Wilson also took a wave around out there, and Jerry Hinkle too, Kevin. So, you know, that gives us a couple more guys, you know, moving closer. That gives us 14 cars now back on a lead lap after the 87 got his wave, lucky dog, and then Hinkle taking the wave around. So as we get ready to go green here, we're stacked up double file. Let's see how this restart is. Looks like Lewis was got a real good restart this time. Pulled about half a car length right there on that 27 of Dale Reynolds. So see how quickly Dale's able to tuck down and fill that slot between himself, between Lucas that 3 car, but Dale's still up on that high side as they come out of turn 2.
Yeah, and I think that's a mistake on a 27. If he doesn't try to get down as soon as he can, that 04 will get in there. As we do see, he finally makes it down in there. You know, it's hard to describe what these cars are like on the first couple of laps of low air pressure and stuff like that. But, you know, as you see, force on back or side by side, great racing here. You got the 23, the 06, the 83, the 78, the 48 is in that mix, and the 32. So, like I said, when you bunch them all up like that, Doug, it's just very exciting racing.
Yeah, looks like they've got that thing sorted out though now, Kevin, as you know, they've gotten back single file, and they figured out, just like we were talking about earlier, you know, you don't want to be side by side too long here, because all you do is, you know, some of these other guys, you know, these guys behind you are going to catch you really quick. You start running side by side, and the other factor is you lose touch with those guys up in front.
That's it. You know, and you know, the 29, he's back here, he's moved up to P11. But, you know, talking about the leaders and stuff like that, you know, I'm sure when he saw the 29 come out like that, he was praying that he got a speeding penalty, because I really think, you know, that car right there, the 29, could really contend up front. Now he's got to contend with, you know, traffic. The 29 does getting through all this. As we see the 3, the 27, the 04, the 16, the 23, and the 06. The 06 hanging right about 6th and 7th all night long, Doug. Newcomer over here to the VSU Cup, doing an outstanding job in the 06, and his car looks a lot better. I know it's early in the fuel run, but looks a lot better than it was before, because every time we were looking at him, the tail end of the car was just hanging out. He was holding on for dear life. So looks like he's made some adjustments. The 16 shoots up high in the corner, and the 23 dives underneath of him. Nice side-by-side battle right there on the backstretch.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking back here a little bit further back. You're talking about Jeremy Enix making his way through, you know, some of this lap traffic a little bit earlier, Kevin. But, you know, had a tense moment there back in turn 1 and 2 there, as a 78 had to get on the binders a little bit, which checked up the 32, and the 34, you know, of course, got on the binders, just a chain reaction. And Jeremy Enix almost got into the back of the 34 there. The 34 was able to slide up the track as, you know, he had lost traction there, and Enix was able to get through that and picked off 2 more cars as all that went on, and now moved up in right behind the 78. So, you know, he's starting to make his way through traffic, but kind of got bogged down there for a couple of laps during the early part of that run there, Kevin.
Yeah, and you know, right behind the 29 we're just talking about, the 32, man, Doug, we talked about him the last 3 or 4 weeks, just miserable luck, whether it missed the setup or getting to somebody's wreck or whatever. Sitting here running, I believe, in the 10th position right now. Whether it's track position or whatever, he's been on a lead lap. He's running 10th. Got to feel good for the young man to, you know, feel competitive again after the last 3 races. Just been disastrous for him. So he's hanging tough there, and in the top 10 it's the 34 is peeking underneath him on the quarter there. But regardless of where he finishes at tonight, he's run a lot better than he has the last 3 races.
Yeah, that's one of the things, you know, that 32 team, you know, Justin Barton and that entire team, that little team out of Virginia, you know, these guys need a good run after the last few weeks they've had, Kevin. You know, it's just been very disheartening. They came out there, they've missed the setup a little bit, you know, and they've just had some bad luck altogether. We got a heck of a battle going on right now for third, Kevin.
Yes, we do. The 23 is coming back, man. He's like, hey, guys, because I'm going to show you that was no fluke. I got a good car. So, looking right there, the 48, I believe he is finally the lucky dog. So, as we see the 23 get loose. Don't know what happened in 23 there. I think he had a mechanical failure or something there, Doug.
Yeah, unfortunate. Frankie Stamato been having a great run all night, but it looks like some type of electrical issue there causing him to, you know, I don't see him anywhere out there on the track right now. He must have took that thing down to the pit road. So, unfortunate for Frankie tonight, and another DC, you know, bad luck. Just when he's finally having a good run, you know.
Yeah, and he had such a great car. He was probably the one that showed us all how the 3 can be beat if you can. Had a heck of a run going on. and was coming back up underneath to the 04, and basically, like you said, had an electrical issue there. Really sucks to see him come out of the race like that. But a guy that I'm keeping my eye on is that 48 car. I'm telling you, Doug, if he ever gets back on the lead lap, these guys might be in trouble. They just might be in trouble. And he's in the lucky dog spot right now, but I'm telling you, if that 48 car gets gets back on the lead lap, we could see a fight.
Yeah, right now, Travis McKinney is one caution away. Kirby said in the lucky dog from being a big factor in this race tonight, Kevin. You know, had a rough way to start the night out. I mean, this night did not start out well for McKinney. You know, started out with that drive-through, went a lap down. At one point, 2 laps down, had to pit cycle through. Now finds himself in the lucky dog position, only 1 lap down. He's been fighting all night, you know, and he's had to fight to get that 1 lap down. So, you know, if he continues running like this, Kevin, he may not even need that lucky dog if he's looking underneath Dale Reynolds right now.
I'm telling you, Doug, he slides right up. Little give and take right there. I'm going to tell you what. Dale Reynolds on the 27 is like, you know what, buddy? You're probably lucky that this is early on in the race. Because I'm telling you, Doug, if that would have happened with about 20 to go or something, it might have been a different story. But you know what? He's getting it back the hard way, Doug. He's driving right up to the front. And I'm telling you, if that car, you know, we talked about the 29, if he can get a lucky dog here or just get his lap back, which it looks like he's trying to do the old-fashioned way, he could be someone to mess with.
Yeah, he's definitely, we talked about Travis quite a bit tonight, Kevin. He's had a fast car all night, so it's not like that speed just came on or he missed a bit up on the initial, you know, go right there. But that car has been quick all night. He's up behind Lewis Buster now. And we saw him a little bit earlier in the race fight and getting one of his laps back, you know, the old-fashioned hard way right there. And he's trying to get that second one back right now. And like you said, Kevin, I think if he can get both of those laps back, gets back on the lead lap, you know, he may have something for this lead crew to, you know, before this is all over with, said and done. We might see him a victory lane tonight.
Yeah, and you know what? The 27's loving this. He's like, you know what? That guy's a lap down. He is up there battling that 3 car. And he's hoping they get side by side because, like you said, we know what happens when the cars get side by side. You open up that wake a little bit for that draft, so that car's back there, and you'll pull the pack right back to you if you keep that up for too long. You know, me, if I'm the leader and I see this guy coming, I'm going to let him go. The last thing I want to happen is to get wrecked by a lap down car. You know, trying to fight that off. We see the 27 coming right back. So this is probably the first time, Doug, that we have seen the 3 car, like I said, be just a little bit, we see a weakness of it. Not necessarily a weakness, but, you know, a challenger that, you know, can show that they can get around this car. The 48 is showing that right now. The 27 has made strides in his adjustments on pit road, too. You know, we see the 48 back off about 2 car lengths here, but if I'm the 3, I'm not messing with that 48 too much. I'll just let him go and say, you know what, we'll deal with it. You know, if you get back on the lead lap, then we'll deal with it. But right now, 48-2 is sitting here going, look, I'm the lucky dog. I got quite a distance on the next guy. He's just got to make sure he's there in that lucky dog spot.
You know, one of the things I'm noticing too, Kevin, is Travis has got to change his lineup now, which he's starting to do. Because I noticed for about 2-3 laps there, he's running the same line that Lewis Buster is in that 3 machine. And he's a lot faster down in the corners, jumping from that high side down onto the bottom on that white line, and is able to bring up a whole lot of time and speed right there, getting into the center of the corners. But unfortunately, he's carrying more speed than what Lewis Buster is, it looks like, into the center of that corner, and he's had to back off and get on the brakes quite a couple of times to keep from getting into the back of the 3 machine. And now he's trying to search around for a different line, because you know the leader ain't going to just move out of his line and let you go, especially now that Dale Reynolds has been able to reel that leader back in. Because now, if you decide to just let that 48 go, then hey, you got that 27 right there to contend with, where, you know, 5-6 laps ago, if you let him go, you had that little bit of window behind you.
That's it, and it's like what we always say, Doug, catching them is one thing, passing them is another.
Right you are on that, Kevin, you know, and getting around them, that's the hard part. But tell you what, fans, how about we take a quick commercial break here, you know, and let myself and Kevin here kind of get reset, and we'll be back with live racing action here from Kansas Motor Speedway. Tonight's running of the Friends Healthcare 400 right after these quick commercial breaks.
Link engaged.
Welcome to TeamSpeak, advanced voice communication software for any platform. TeamSpeak allows groups of people to communicate and share information with anyone via the internet or through private networks. Using your Windows, Mac or Linux-based computer, all you need is a headset with microphone, and in minutes you can be chatting with others in real time, using our crystal clear voice technology. As a pioneer in the industry, TeamSpeak has become one of the most recognized brands in online gaming and voice-over-IP solutions. TeamSpeak features include a customizable toolbar, a clickable server icon and support for channel icons, custom graphics and VB code-enabled info panes, detailed user info and support for uploading avatars, firewall-friendly file transfer, tabs, public and private text chat with logging, custom skins, themes and sound packs, and much more.
I'm someone that's more than just a casual gamer. It's important to me to have fast, organized, quality voice comms. With TeamSpeak, I'm able to quickly customize user permissions and email a privilege key when I'm playing users. So the next time they log into the server, they'll be set up exactly how I want them to be. TeamSpeak also lets us do file transfers, assign player rank, insignia, upload avatars, or create custom skins. For me, there's no better choice out there than TeamSpeak.
TeamSpeak is free to use for non-commercial entities. Low-cost professional hosting is also available through our global network of authorized TeamSpeak host providers. For online gaming titles, social networks, government, military, or simulator projects, TeamSpeak also offers a software development kit. The TeamSpeak SDK allows developers to integrate our technology directly into their existing product or service. So no matter which game you're playing or with whom you wish to communicate, TeamSpeak has you covered. TeamSpeak. Flexible, powerful, crystal clear voice communication on any platform.
And welcome back to Kansas Motor Speedway here in Kansas City, Kansas. It's a nice running of the Friends Healthcare 400 presented by NuffWORLD TV. I'm Douglas Starting up here in the booth. I'm joined with Kevin Kelly and producer back here, Stephen Mahana, tonight. We've had a lot of green flag racing out here tonight, Kevin, and so far Lewis Buckler has risen to the cream of the crop, but I think you may have some challengers still before this thing is all over with if a couple of cars can get back on the lead lap tonight.
Yeah, we're looking at the 29 who's battled all the way back up to third. Got that speeding penalty on pit road. So he's taking care of the car. He's come through there. But, we're sitting here looking at some of these guys back in the field and looking at the 4 car, Dennis Wright, stuck a lap down. And right behind him, we were just talking about him a while ago, the 06 Doug. Partridge was running in 5th or 6th place, and now he's dropping back. He's dropping back in the clutches of the 87 car. So something went wrong on that 06 car in a hurry.
Well, Kevin, I was noticing on that last pit stop, just like we referred to a couple of guys a little bit earlier, that wrench went in the back window. It looks like they may have tried to loosen that car up, and that thing looks like it's a little bit too loose. Those first few laps, as we went back to green there a little bit earlier after restart, looks like the rear end of that car wanted to come around on him, and he was fighting with it for quite a bit. So they may have went the wrong way under adjustments as he continues to fall back through the field a bit tonight.
Yeah, you know, going back and looking at P17 to 24, Chuck Garcia, man, just not the night that he was looking for, Doug. Usually, typically runs pretty good here. I think he was one of those guys that got caught in that pit scenario there, pitting early and got stuck a lap down or a couple laps down, not been able really to make any headway. Don't see a whole lot of damage on the car. He's running pretty good lap times, but as you know, track position is everything here. And, you know, behind him, also 2 laps down in 18th, the 12th of Jerry Hinkle. He's another guy that we've just said ever since this chase started, Doug, is just not performed the way that he did during the first 26 races. So that team has got a lot to figure out. We're almost halfway through the chase here. The window of opportunity is running out. And also hearing that the street car might be having some electrical issues, Doug.
Yeah, that's definitely an unfortunate event if he does happen to have that. But one of the things I was going to talk about there, Kevin, you talked about that 24 of Chuck Garcia a little bit earlier. One of the things that put him behind the 8-ball to start the night off tonight, you know, he wasn't able to make the grid for qualifying tonight. So, you know, of course, with NuffWORLD rules, you don't qualify. You got to serve a, you know, a drive-through penalty on that first lap, same as Travis McKinney had to do. So, you know, he lost a lap right there, you know, taking that drive-through on the very first lap. And then, of course, you know, those long green flags didn't help out any. He lost a lap under the pit cycle. So, you know, definitely unfortunate couple of breaks right there for the 24 of Chuck Garcia tonight. Puts him, you know, 2 laps down. He's currently in 18th position and still trying to fight.
Yeah, you know, somebody else that loves this racetrack too is the 88. Wow, right in front of the leader. The 88 coming to pit road. That was a little bit close. We need to get that hand out the window just a little bit sooner. Let him know he's come in. We see him just go 2 laps down. It's not the run the 88 was looking for, but you know what? He's in here 16th. He was one of those guys that just stayed out to the very end to get tires and went down, you know, a lap early and could never make that up. So tough night for the 88. Needs some good luck.
And, you know, the way they've been running this race tonight, Kevin, you know, that's one of the things to kind of allude to also. You know, we stayed green for the first 100-plus laps, you know, so that's almost, well, we had 2 pit cycles on those, you know, completely cycle through there with green flags, and that makes it, you know, that much harder to get any laps down, you know, and a lot of these guys took that early pit strategy, you know, to come in early and take tires and fuel during that run, and Lewis Buster staying out there till the bitter end, so to speak, it just, you know, put these guys behind a bit.
Yeah, right now, you know, you're pretty much stuck what you got. If you cannot get the car to react to the way that you need it to react, you're not going to. You've missed the setup. Unless a miracle happens, you know, and you can, at the end here, hang around a lead lap and take this thing up, you know, with 4 or 5 to go and have a good old-fashioned shootout, green, white, checkered, or whatever. But, you know, you pretty much got what you've got. There's not much more adjustment you can do to these things. So, you know, some of these guys have come in here pretty confident on the setup, and they missed it as we come up on lap 185 right now. But, you know, there's still a lot of racing to go. And that's what you got to keep in your mindset is that there's a long way to go still. There's some laps I can make just a couple adjustments to try and make my car a little bit better as you see the 08 coming on pit road. And, you know, I mean, all hope is not lost. If you miss the setup, you just got to scratch, crawl, dig, punch, kick, whatever you can just to stay on that lead lap and hope that at the end of the race something happens and you're there to capitalize on it.
Yeah, one of the things kind of highlight too while we're talking about some of the guys out here in the field tonight, Kevin, is running back here in 20th place position is that number 64 car, John Lawler. You know, John's one of those guys we don't get a chance to really highlight and talk a lot about throughout the course of our race broadcast. But John is one of those, you know, he's one of our veterans, been around here for quite a while, and he's one of those core core group of drivers we have out here that you may not see him up front a lot of times, but John is just one of those guys who loves this sport. He loves his racing over here at NuffWorld and has a lot of good close friends here within NuffWorld, you know, as we ride on board with him right now. But John is one of those guys that makes up what we like to call the core group of our family here. You know, that guy, he may not be up front, he may not be the winning race car driver, but great guy all around, you know, definitely here week in, week out, and will offer suggestions and advice when he can, you know, and when asked upon him, and will do all he can for this league. And just want to send a, you know, just a quick, you know, little talk about John Lawler there is, you know, like I say, we don't get to talk a lot about him during most of our race broadcasts.
That's it. Stand-up guy, give you the shirt off his back, loves just coming over here and competing and racing Thursday nights and Saturday nights. So, you know, kudos to him for hanging out. Very courteous, respectful driver. And, you know, is actually another guy that's turned his program around a lot, too, running a lot better the second half of the year, putting, you know, some nice finishes together. You know, every time I talk to him, it's always about track time with John. So, you know, he's headed in the right direction with that kind of attitude.
Yeah, he keeps, like you said, you know, that track time he's been putting in here a lot lately, it's starting to show already, you know, and if John continues to put that track time in, it's a good possibility he could turn the 2014 season around and, you know, see some top 10s out of that machine for next year.
Yeah, you know, it's all about track time. It's all about the help, you know, the guys helping with setups and understanding the chassis of these cars and stuff like that. So kudos for John, you know, for sticking it out, and kudos for the guys for helping him. You know, back up front here looking, Doug, it really, you know, this time, you know, about this time, the last fuel run and all that, the 3 had really stretched it out to like a 3.5-second lead. And we're not seeing that right now. He's maintaining about 5/10 on second place. And the 29 looks like he's kind of stalled out where he is. He had to really run that thing hard to get back up through there. So he needs a caution to get some 4 tires on that thing and make ground off that. The 48 is still sitting there, I believe. Yep, he's still sitting there for the lucky dog. So the 48's doing what he's got to do, and they're falling the right way. It's just not enough time for him.
Yeah, and one of the things you kind of alluded to it too there, Kevin, talking about that 29 machine of Jeremy Enix. I kind of been watching him since we had that restart there. But, you know, he really, the leader per se, hasn't gotten away from him all that much. You know, about 10, 15 laps ago, he was still about 2 seconds off the lead, you know. But just, you know, it's that factor, you know, of he started so far back in the pack, had to pass so many cars. So he definitely had to run the car a lot harder than probably what he has, you know, earlier throughout the night. And at this point, I think he may have used up a little bit of those tires. So now he's got to, you know, just hang on to it and keep it moving in the direction he's going, you know, and not lose too much time before this next pit cycle comes through, whether it be under caution or, you know, whether it be under green flags. But if he can keep that car underneath him and not lose too much time, he may have a great chance at really running that car, you know, back up and challenging Lewis Buster for that win tonight.
That's it. And I want to bounce back here a little bit to 8th and 9th. These guys have been going at it for 3 or 4 laps. Finally, the 15 says, you know what, dude? Go ahead with it, because I'm telling you, Doug, they went at it for about 3 or 4 laps. The 87 got up in the wall just a little bit about 2 laps ago. Doesn't seem to have any damage on that. So he's slowly moving through this field too. And he was one of those cars that was stuck 2 laps down, took a wave around, and then raced his way up to the lucky dog. And he's sitting up there now rating P8, about 8.3 seconds off the lead. So the youngster's doing a good job out there going through. And Darren Bench, we can talk about him all night. And he's just secretly made his way up inside the top 10. And, you know, he's just hoping for another caution, too, to get this thing all tied back up and maybe have a run at that leader, too.
Yeah, you talk about these 2 guys, Kevin. Junior there, you know, like you said, talked about there a moment ago, you know, he was 2 laps down at one time. You know, he's been out there, he's kept his patience, he's drove the car for, you know, exactly what he has to do. You know, as you see the 08 coming into the picture right there, Danny Gutierrez, who we saw pit just a few laps ago, but this will give you the difference, you know, just show you what difference these tires will make out here versus these tires that they've been out here 20, 30, 40 laps on. as you see, Gutierrez just gets around Darren Benz at 15 like it was nothing, and then same thing with Kevin Kelly Jr. in that 87. Just makes short work of both of them, half a lap. He gets around both cars, so just shows you what a difference new tires can play. But Max Jr., like I said, I mean, you know, he played patience and he played it smart, you know. But talk about Darren Benz there, Kevin. I've been noticing he's been there just about top 10 about all night, so he's drove a real smart race too.
Yeah, and you know, he's one of those ones too. You know, you don't hear a whole lot from him. Very courteous driver. You know, he gets aggressive when he needs to be, and patient when he needs to be. You know, prime example right there. You know, they're on the same pit strategy as the 87 is. He says, no, you know, the 87, you're a little bit quicker now. I'm not going to lose any time. I'm going to lose one spot. It's no big deal. I'm going to pull over. I'm going to let him go, and I'm just going to watch it. Maybe he's running a little bit different line than I am, and maybe I can run that line and make my car handle a lot better. I definitely think these guys are going the right way on a lot of their changes. Is looking through the field. A lot of these guys are really making good adjustments and strategy. One car, you know, we talk about him every week, and it's the 78, Chris Melton. Right there in the top 5 again. He's almost 6 seconds off the lead, but he's there, and it seems like he's there every week, Doug.
Yeah, he's definitely making some strides over here. You know, that's a young man. I see him as a, you know, car to be fought with here, especially in the 2014 season. And it wouldn't surprise me a bit, Kevin, to see a win out of this car before this 2013 season is over. But as you were talking there, had a bit of a tense moment up there in the front as the leaders, Louis Bussa and Dale Reynolds there in second, caught the 64 and the 54. Right there, Louis Bussa was able to get around both of them, you know, on the high side prior to getting into the corner down in turn 1. But unfortunately, Dale Reynolds caught both of them right in the corner and really had to check up, you know, and lost about 0.4 of a second on the leader, Louis Bussa there. So had a good tense moment there. But I'm seeing the 7 car, Kevin, as retired the car, taking it back into the garage area. So looks like he might be done for the night.
Yeah, he's done, and we're hearing that the 48, yes, he is. The 48 is on pit road. Got to kind of question that because I know he was on the same fuel and tire strategy, well, I should say, the pit stop as of the 3. You know, he was a pretty fast car. I know he's falling back, but he was in the lucky dog position. What he's done now, Doug, is he's put himself 2 laps down. He's surrendered the lucky dog position to the 4 car of Dennis Wright. So now he's just, and if a caution don't come out, he's going to go out here, and we know that car is fast on fresh tires. No doubt about it. We watched him run the leader down at the beginning of this fuel cycle here. But got to kind of question giving up those laps and going 2 down. Everything that you built back up, you've basically taken down now. So he's banking on this going green. If the caution comes out, it's disaster. He's looking at being 2 laps down again.
Yeah, a lot of these guys who they stayed out there, Kevin, and took that wave around. You know, quite a few of them have hit pit road already. With Jerry Hinkle being one of those, that number 12, who's the first car right now that's 2 laps down. So, you know, he's got to be able to get up to Jerry Hinkle and get around him, as well as the leaders, you know, to get back to 1 lap down. So he did give up that lucky dog position. So, you know, it's a very interesting call to say the least. You know, I don't think he would have needed fuel at this point in the race, but maybe his tires were just, you know, giving up, being chewed up a little too much for his liking at this point, or maybe something was going wrong with the car.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, you know, if he's got a tire that he knows it's getting ready to go down to something like that, it's a different story. I'm not sure I would have given up that track position if he was sitting there fighting for a lucky dog. Like I said, now you're at the mercy of, you know, the leader. You know, of course, you're going to be running fast for the leader, but at the same time, you've got 4 fresh tires, and you're going to be running that car pretty hard. And then you're going to be stuck in the same position that you were before, except this time you're going to have a couple other cars that are a lap down in front of you. So, you know, like we've always said, Doug, it's, you know, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't look into it, and usually everything we say ends up wrong anyway. So maybe he knows more than we do.
That could be the case, Kevin. I mean, he may have some kind of strategy he's playing out here, and maybe knows a little more than we do, as most of these guys in the car, they do know what they're doing a little more than what we can see up here in the booth many times. But, you know, it kind of makes me question that whole thing. But see a car coming down pit road here. Looks like the 34 of Ben Britton also is coming down to make his stop. So he's currently running inside the top 10. He's another one of those we haven't talked a lot about tonight, Kevin, but has been, fairly quiet throughout the night.
We got a spin in front of 27. Wow, and the 27, the second place car just got taken out. Wow.
Unfortunate incident tonight for Dale Reynolds up there, Kevin.
Yeah, the 27 was gaining, running about a tenth faster a lap than the leader was, and the 54, a few laps down, 4 laps down actually, just lost it in front of the second place car. The 27 had nowhere to go, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of nose damage on that 27, Doug.
Yeah, and we just alluded to a little bit earlier, Kevin, with Travis McKinney coming in. He's only been out there about 4 to 5 laps now, so that is something he definitely did not want to see happen. We got the replay coming up here, Kevin. Looks like, wow, it was just interesting all the way around, catching lap traffic. We talked about he had it a little earlier, looks like that 27 just, as Chapman lost it there coming off the board. 27, unfortunately, just had nowhere to go, as he come up on him there. So, very unfortunate break, as it looked like he was going to be able to get through for just a second, but then that was a hard hit too, Kevin. That front end came completely off the ground.
Yeah, you know what? He's our guy we were just talking. He was 72 points out coming in, needing a really good run here and running second. And that's the thing, Doug. You think you're safe. You're running second. Nothing can happen to me. I'm running good. I don't win this race tonight. I'm point racing. I'm going to try to get a point led, with a lap, a point for a leading a lap. He does, and then he's setting himself up for the end of the race. If I can, make a bonsai at it and try to win, I can. He's riding in second, and lap traffic gets him. So bad break for the 27. He's probably going to lose at least 5 or 6 spots on pit road, Doug. He's going to have to do repairs on that car.
Yeah, I see extensive repairs going out. They've got the saws out, and they're getting ready to cut away some of that sheet metal, try to bend those that sheet metal back away from the tires. But looks like we're going to have a change for the lead here. Looks like the 78 was the first car out of pit road. Louis Bussa lost quite a few positions right there on pit road this time, Kevin. He's going to come out in the 6th place position.
Yeah, and we said it. If there was one enemy of the 3, it's pit road. Not sure what happened there. Not sure if he got some damage and had to fix that himself. But as you know, when you get mired back in traffic like that, you're fair game after that.
Yeah, and one of the guys who we talked about a little bit earlier has a fast car. That 29 of Jeremy Enix now. He gets out in 4th. So the race off pit road definitely changed some things up quite a bit right there. We got quite a few cars who are in front of the leaders there that haven't came in yet, lap down cars and such. And I'm thinking if I'm Travis McKinney now, after that pit stop, we talked about that a little bit earlier, I've got to stay out and take a wave round at this point, Kevin.
Yeah, and we've seen the 34 coming in, surrendering that number 1 spot there. Got to wonder what the 78 and the 04 took for tires. Not sure. They really got out there in front of that leader. So I'm not sure what happened on that whole exchange there. All I know is we're about, as old DW would say, business is about to pick up big time.
And the very interesting thing, too, here, I'm not sure what may have happened right here, Kevin, but that 3 car's back on pit road again. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe he's just getting fuel, but that's going to put him way back there in the pack right now.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I believe we had the one to go, so he's going to have to start at the end of the line. So, hearing that was not one to go, so he will be able to ride up in there, the last car on the lead lap. But you got to kind of question that. We should be able to make it no problem with fuel, so you got to wonder, why the 3 would come in and top off like that. Don't know if he's got some other kind of issues that he's kind of sweeping under the rug there, but I'm not sure back in that dirty air like that, somebody's going to benefit being out front with this.
And as he comes out right there, Kevin, that'll put him back in the 11th place position. So that's going to bring an interesting scenario, too, to watch that 3 car, because he hasn't all night long. He's never been mired back in traffic that far. That dirty air could do something to that car and really upset it here. As we've never seen him really further back than about 4th tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see if that car reacts the same back there in the pack with all that dirty air flowing around we always talk about and changing the aerodynamics on that car.
Yeah, and you know, one car that we're really going to be interested to see what the aerodynamics is the 27 car. Dale Reynolds riding around in 6s. We see the 3 car on pit road again. I would think, Doug, I think we're in a window when all these cars can make it. I know there's plenty of cars out here that can make it, so I'm really questioning the strategy of the 3. I mean, he could pull out of here like gangbusters and prove us all wrong, but I think the field can make it.
Yeah, I would think, you know, we only got 57 laps. We've seen them run more than 57 laps under green tonight, so it's very surprising unless he's just trying to, maybe he's thinking somebody's going to, you know, try to come in, maybe, you know, short pit him or something and try to have those better tires, and he's trying to get the very best tires he possibly can, you know, with the least amount of tire wear on them. But that's an interesting call, Kevin. I'm not sure I agree with that.
Yeah, I'll tell you. You know, sitting here, just kind of hitting our pit reporters down on pit road, there's a lot of cars out here running that are like 6 or 7 laps to the good. You know, talking to 3 or 4 teams right here. But, you know, I'm with you. I'm kind of flabbergasted by that. Why you, with, you know, putting yourself back there, you know, I know he's got a pretty good cushion to second place, but, man, this could unfold ugly if you DNF.
Yeah, as we get the green flag here, Chris Melton and Justin McLucas side by side. Looks like Melton's going to have a little better advantage coming across the line there, but Jeremy Enix is really pouring it on right now. Kevin moves up into that second place position right behind Chris Melton. So we talked about Jeremy Enix a little bit earlier, you know, needing a little break to fall his way. It may fall his way, and, you know, Jeremy is definitely, after the way he's ran tonight, he's looking for that win.
Yeah, you know, the 29, I think right now is just licking his chops because I think he's got a little bit better car than the 78. The 78 car has been better on the long run. I don't think anybody's holding back right now. Like you said, kind of really flabbergasted what happened with the 3. But then again, like you said, he knows more than we do. He's way back in traffic, got nothing to lose, got a little bit of a cushion there. But like you said, I really floored by that decision on what the 3 did. Like I said, maybe he knows better than we do. If we look at a good battle right here between the 04, the 87, and the 16, again, you know, about this time every race, Doug, we see the 04 here lately and the 87 just all of a sudden out of nowhere come up and run inside the top 5. These youngsters, man, I'm telling you, they're showing, you know, they're here to last, and they're having a blast, man. They just come on at the end of the race, every race.
Yeah, we got a new leader out there. The 29's been able to get around Chris Belton to take over that number 1 position, Kevin. But one of the things I was going to say, look back there in position number 6 right now, who's joined the fray, so to speak. We haven't talked much about it since the beginning of this race, but Timmy St. Jean has done something with that car. He's running in 6th right now.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he's come back. He's been to the front, to the back, to the middle, to the back again, and now he's back up front. But right behind him, we're going to see how much damage that 27 car has. He's riding around in P7. Looks a little bit slower maybe coming on down the straightaway, but looks that they did a pretty good job on piecemealing that front end.
Yeah, that 27, though, I think he's going to have somebody close by to get that draft off of, get that downforce, you know, on that front end. He's going to have downforce on that front end, Kevin, and I think, just like you said, he looks a little bit slower down the front stretch, down the back stretch than a lot of these other guys. So I think that damage on the nose is definitely going to hurt his speed right there. So, but Jeremy is, you know, out there in front, in that number 29, and leading the way right now. And you know he's got to be a happy guy knowing that Lewis Buster is buried that far back in traffic right now.
That's it. And you know what? We're getting Buster here, our statistician in the back, and technical wizard guru back there to throw up the lap times, because I'm telling you right now, Doug, these guys look like they're running the fastest laps of the race right now.
Yeah, right now the fastest 3 out there, Kevin, seeds at the line are Brian Lee, Rob Partridge, and Timmy St. Jean. So those guys have definitely poured on the coals, so to speak, and said, okay, it's go time, boys. It's time to make something happen. So, You know, especially Timmy, that's exactly what he needs after starting on the pole position tonight. And like you said, he's been all over the field, front, back, middle, everywhere.
Yeah, Doug, I'm telling you, I had to catch my breath. The 06, the 27, the 15, the 34, and the 48, who is still trying to get back on the lead lap. Man, they are having a battle.
And look who's right there in behind that mix. If something were to go wrong, is that 3 car of Lewis Bussa. I'm telling you, he's flirting with disaster at this point, Kevin.
Yeah, you know, you see the 27. I think he's just about to the point to where the tires have worn off just a little bit. He's worn them in, and he's, basically dropping back. He knows he's not going to be a factor now. He's trying to just get what kind of finish that he can get. But there are battles all over this racetrack. You look back in the 14th position, the 4, the 24, the 32, and the 12, man, they are just getting at it.
Yeah, these guys, you can tell, as they like to say, business has picked up. They know this could be the final stretch here, the way this thing has been running. We've had a lot of green flag runs and extended green flag runs here before. It gets a little tight right there. It comes up. It looks like he almost touched the 24. Tells the 24 to have to get out of it. Loses some ground right there. Barden moves around him also on that 32 machine. So, these guys are they're still fighting it out. And, we've got less than 50 to go now, Kevin. And, like I said, it's go time. A lot of these guys are on final stops and final fuel to the end.
That's it. And the 48 has just got to be kicking himself in the teeth. He's running around out there right now, I believe, in the 13th position. But he's still, he's a lap down. He is the lucky dog. So he's made up some positions right there. But, that one pit stop ended up costing him. And the caution came out right after it. He's definitely got a car. So now he's sitting there wanting this thing to, a caution to be thrown. It's like you said, we're less than 50 laps to go. And these guys are running some of the fastest lap times right now in the race. And that 78 Doug up front, he's not going anywhere. He is only about a tenth off of the 29. And he is just getting it in these top 3. If anything, it looks like the 78 might be turning the cold off just a little bit as he's coming back.
Yeah, that 78 has he's definitely got that car hooked up right now, and he's using all the racetrack he can, to try to get around that 29 and get up there to him. And as we got the speeds up at the line here, we'll see how these guys are running right now. And a lot of these guys, we're seeing Enix running a 174 right there. So they picked the speeds up, Kevin, about 15 miles an hour since the last time that we were looking at them. But looks like the 06 had some problems right there.
Boy, I tell you what, that was a heck of a thing. Oh, as the 08 spins, he's up against the wall. He's coming down in front of it. Oh, man, come down right in front of the field. So I got to think the caution's probably going to come out on that one. Not sure. But, man, that was dangerous, man. The 08 just came down right in front of the whole field right there. The 32 was lucky to get away with that one.
Yeah, it looks like the 08 was able to, it spun it, came right across in front of all the others and got off the track. So with these guys, we're all able to get around. Gutierrez was able to get it off the track, stay out of anybody's way. So we stay green out here, Kevin. So, unfortunate incident, the leaders are coming by now past the 08, the 29, and the 78 now going underneath them. So that'll put Gutierrez 3 laps down now, unfortunately. So, but I tell you what, that 78, he is pouring it on here in Phoenix right now and moving to the inside, looking to take that position away.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he is digging hard. The 78, he ain't got nothing to lose. He's over here. He's not a chaser. He's sitting there running as hard as he can. He's been up in the top 10 every week. And he is digging. And the 04, I tell you what, he is doing just like he did last week. He's showing some muscle at the end of the race right here. So, I mean, this thing is not over with. We're bouncing back and looking, and the 3-car has made it back to 7th place. So, but I don't know, Doug. I think he's going to run out of laps. Just stays green.
And that's the interesting thing when you look up front right now, too, Kevin, is you got Jeremy Enix, Chris Melton, and Justin McLucas, all 3 right there running 1, 2, and 3. And, they pretty much set sail right now and started to move away from this pack. But none of those three right there have anything to lose at this point. None of those three are fighting for a championship. Not one of those three are in the chase right now. So, you know, it's, as the old proverbial words would go, it's, you know, checkers or records for these guys. You know, a win's a win.
That's it. You know, they're going to bring back the steering wheel. It's like, what do they have, you know, we mean it in a dumb way, you know, what do they have the race for? They're out here for W's, man. That's it. You know, of course, if they can't get the win, they're going to get the best finish they can, but they're going to bring you back the steering wheel and whatever's left. I mean, these three are running almost identical lap times right here, and if we go green, it's going to be real interesting. I tell you, the 04, to me, looks the best out of the three. You see the 04 get right in the corner right there, just a lot better than everybody else, and that just sets up this center off speed. As you turn right there. So, I mean, he is looking really, really good, and I think he's tracking them both down.
Yeah, and it looks like the 78 may have got in there just a little hot, moved up the track. The 04 moves underneath him. But, you know, we talk about, you know, McLucas and Melton there, Kevin. Those are two rookies here in NuffWorld, and, you know, they've more than, per se, paid their dues. They've been out here for quite a few races this year. And, you know, they've been out here, they've raced hard, they've raced smart, they've raced clean around all these veterans, and learned a lot of respect. And to kind of go along with showing that, you know, one of the things, Jeremy Enix, when him and the 04 got into that little bit there about 100 laps or so ago, you know, Jeremy, you know, even came across in chat right there, talking about, hey, no worries, 04, you know, no damage, hey, that was a nice run we had together. So, shows you the amount of respect some of these rookies have earned, you know, from the veterans here.
That's it. Speaking of rookies, well, I tell you, the 87 made it 3 wide down there with the 83 and the 48. The 34 is on the outside of the 87. And, man, these guys are not giving an inch here. I thought somebody was going to end up giving there, but they went 3 wide then in that corner and made it work. But that's not going to happen too many times with right around 40 laps to go.
Yeah, we got, you know, laps are starting to wind down, but that 04, I'm telling you right now, Kevin, that it looks like that's the fastest car, you know, just by the looks on the track right now. He looks like he's got the fastest car out there, but, you know, as we've documented quite a few times tonight, you know, we've talked about, you know, it's one thing to catch a car, it's another thing to get around that car, you know, as the leaders are now catching lap traffic. John Lawler up there, the 64 machine, gives plenty of room, you know, to these leaders, lets them go right on by on the inside. So, good move by Lawler, making sure to give them all the room he possibly could there.
Yeah, that's it. And the 04, like you said, the 04 looks really, really good to the center of the corner. We're coming up on about, we've got right around 30-something laps to go, 35 laps or so to go. You know, I'm not saying it's panic and go time, but I believe if you're 04, maybe ride, just take care of your tires just a little bit and get down to about 15 or 10 to go, and then try to run them down. But, you know, like we said earlier, they're here to win a race. They're not here to finish second. So this is going to get real interesting with about 15 to go.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I'm looking back here a little bit farther, Kevin, in 5th place right now. That's number 3 machine of Lewis Butler is steadily starting to creep back into our picture in here. He's currently about 2.5 to 3 seconds, you know, off the lead pack right now as he's coming up on Brian Lee here, starting to catch him. But, you know, according to how well this car stays on track and how well it stays on pace, you know, right now, he might have a possibility of getting back up there and dogfighting this route at the end.
That's it. We look back in the 87, the 83, the 64, 3 wide again, back in 7th, 8th, and 9th. Probably one of the best battles on the racetrack. These guys just are not giving an inch, man. The 83, the 87, the 15 are going at it. The 34 and the 48 are going at it. And do you think it was 2 to go the way they're going at it? You know, they know this is the end of the race. But, you know, looking back up front with the 04, he is steadily gaining on the 29. I'm going to tell you what, fellas, the 3 is coming, so you'd better hurry up and settle this thing out and get single file, because if you start racing side by side before you know it, the 3 is going to be there.
Yeah, and that's the thing you don't want to happen right now is that 3 get back in the mix. You had him, per se, you know, in a vulnerable position right there, so, you know, that was the time you had to take advantage of it, which, you know, Enix, McLucas, and Melton, they definitely tried to do that. They got these cars out there. They got single file, and they got themselves out there and broke away from the rest of the pack. But you know, you got to worry about that car once it gets there.
Yeah, exactly. And we're looking at the 3-car right now. He is 2.2 seconds back from the lead. He's knocking about a tenth off a lap. You do the math, it's going to be right down to the end of the race that he should catch the leader. Unless the leader starts falling off even more, we'll keep an eye on the distance from 4th place up to the leaders. It's still maintaining about 2.2 seconds. But these guys start racing side by side. Like we said, it could be trouble for those guys because the 3's got 4 fresh tires on it, and he don't have to worry about nothing. So it's going to be really interesting coming right down to it. Like you do the math, he should be there with like 2 to go. So it's going to be a crazy finish.
Yeah, and right now it looks like the leaders may even be seeing that also, Kevin, as they're now single file, you know, especially McLucas and Jeremy Enix. As that lap, he only clicked off about a half a tenth faster that time. So, you know, they may be seeing that too, deciding, hey, you know, of course there may be even some spotters up on the roofs up there talking between the 2 cars. You know, hey, we know what's behind us. Let's stay single file, try to ride this thing out, get it as far as we possibly can, and settle it as a birdie.
That's it, and it's maintaining a 2.2 second lead right there. So he's at this point, you know, he's actually not better than himself. It's staying right there. You know, at times the 04 looks a little bit better than the 29, and then all of a sudden the 29 comes battling right back. So this is going to come right down to the end. Still 2.2 at the line between the 3-car and the leader.
Yeah, looking back here in the 12th place position right now, Kevin, though. Rob Partridge in the 06, the 32 of Justin Barton, and Jerry Hinkle, Chuck Garcia, and the 03 of Bruce Turner. These guys have side-by-side battle here. It looked like they were almost about to go 3 wide there for just a couple of moments as Hinkle looked in between them but then thought better of it. And now Chuck is, you know, looking down on the inside of Jerry Hinkle, but it's like these guys are playing a heck of a cat-and-mouse game right now. These guys are trying to you know, find every way they can as Barton and Partridge are fighting for the 11th place position. The rest of those cars are a lap down, just trying to settle things out between themselves. So right now, those guys are just trying to, they're all fighting for positions as Garcia and Hinkle both 2 laps down, so that's a position. Then you got Partridge and Barton also fighting for position there in 11th place.
Yeah, and you know, we questioned the 32. Was it pit strategy? Or just a good car? Man, he gets close to the 06 going into the corner there. But it looks like they've had a solid setup all race long. The 32's looking good, and he's riding in P11 and, you know, trying to hold off that 06 car. So kudos to the 32. They've had a good week. They needed a good run here. As the 06 got up in the wall, Doug, not sure what happened, is he slides back and loses 3 spots on the track right there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Partridge, but being out there on that outside, you know, for 2-3 laps like that, you know as well as I do, Kevin, that starts to heat those tires up a little bit. I'm wondering if it maybe broke loose on him for just, you know, a half a second right there, and he had to chase that thing up the hill a little bit. But Barton moved him up to a P11 right now in the 11th place position. But, you know, one of the guys we talked about a little bit earlier involved with heavy damage, that 27 of Dale Reynolds, has been able to maintain a top 10 position right now, Kevin.
Yeah, the 27, you know, he's doing all he can to, you know, try to turn a bad day into points. That's what we're looking at. But, you know, the 29, Doug, has managed. We were worried about the 3-car who's in 4th spot. It's 2.3 now. So, you know, again, we were doing the math. If he was knocking a tenth off at the end of like 2 or 3 to go, he was going to be there. But it's swinging the other way. It's staying right around 2.2, 2.3. So unless he gets a caution, he's not going to be able to make that up. So again, it goes to, you know, coming to pit road, you know, maybe he thought that, you know, he would have that little bit of advantage and be able to drive up through there. Not sure what he was thinking, but I definitely think that he took the win out of his own hands right there.
Yeah, I was kind of noticing up front here too, Kevin. We talk about Enix and McLucas. You know, we've been talking about them, you know, but I think those two are starting to realize and started working together because they are just completely leaving Chris Melton now. He's about 0.6 of a second off of McLucas's bumper and lost touch with those guys. So I think Enix and McLucas may be under that strategy. Hey, let's stay together. Kind of like what we've seen all year long with Lewis Busta and Ben Bando. Let's get these two cars together. Let's ride this thing out, and when we get down to the end, we'll fight it out between the two of us.
That's it. The 3-car made up a little bit of time there, made up about 0.2. But again, it's actually now he made up another 1/10. He's now 1.9. So either he's pouring on the jet. When we're seeing the 3 run a little bit different line now than he's been running, actually using the apron right there. Pretty much the whole race he was running your traditional line around the track. Notice the last 2 or 3 laps that he's been running the flat on the apron on the front stretch, and he's actually knocked it down to 1.8, but it might be a little bit too late unless he is really pouring it on. We see it almost 1.7 now. So these guys don't want to fool around too much up here. I would, if I was them, I'd stay single file and try to pull this thing out.
Yeah, and the other interesting scenario that'll play in right there too, Kevin, you look right there in front of him, Chris Melton, running in third. How much of a fight would Chris put up if Lewis does get there? I mean, if these guys, get together and they stay side by side for a couple of laps or, more, then that's going to hinder his progress, right now, as Lewis is continuing to knock off about 1/10 of a second every lap once again now. So he's definitely got the car back up to speed. I don't know what, maybe he was just laying back to cool the tires or what exactly was going on, but he's definitely picking up some time on these leaders once again. But if he gets the mountain and gets to fighting, for 3-4 laps, then these leaders could it swings back out once again.
Yeah, as we see it's back to 1.7 right now. He might be pulling a little bit of draft at that 78 as we see him just make up a lot of time right there on the 78. 78 looks like he is tight getting in and tight off. 3 looks pretty balanced. It's 1.6 now. He's behind the leader. I just think, as we come up on about 17 laps to go, he's going to run out of time as he's right up on the back of the 78, going right through 1 and 2 right there. So, like I said, it all comes down to, us questioning what he did on that pit stop. Maybe he had this as he's trying to peek inside the 78. And like I said, this is going to determine right here, Doug, how much room he's going to make up. Doesn't look like the 78 is going to be able to give him too much fight as he's trying to hang on the outside. He eventually clears him. He's 1.8, so the 78 cost him about 0.2 right there. And the 3-set sales, I think he's just going to run out of time.
Yeah, it may be just a matter of time right now, like you said, with about 16, 17 laps remaining right now, Kevin. And he's got 1.7 second deficit, so he's got to make up at least 1/10 of a second per lap on these leaders. So, and as the closer it gets, and they start getting down to under 5 to go. As you see Lewis Busta now, he's getting down on the apron. He's trying to look for every little bit of speed he possibly can. We talked about that during the race, Kevin. That could be something comes back and haunts him. He gets there too many times and de-wedges that car.
That's it, and I'm looking up front now in the 04. This is the closest he's been as he's looking. He's peaking. I think he's setting that 29 up. He's making them think, this is where, I'm going to make my move. The 04 has been backing up a little bit. I think cooling the tires off, trying to get a run at him. And this is the closest we've seen him, like in the last 20 laps, as he pulls right up on the back of him going down to turn 1. And I think he's just setting him up, Doug. I think he's seeing where his car is, might be a little bit better to 29. And right there you can see, down the backstretch, he just comes off the corner a lot better than 29, making up that time. And he's kind of arcing that thing down in there. I think he's really just searching for a line to see where he's better. But right there to the center of the corner, to me, it looks like the 04 is just a stoach better than the 29.
Yeah, these guys are, I think just like you said, Kevin, as Lucas looks like he's going to try to take that inside line. And now they are both running 2 different lines. So these guys are, as McLucas is pulling up the side of him, looks like they're going to have a battle for the lead here, which, if you're back there Lewis Busta in that 3rd place position, this is exactly what you want to see right now. As these guys are too wide, and slow their speed down. He's already pulled 2/10 of a second on him just in the last lap as the 04 finally clears the 29 and moves himself up into position number 1.
That's it. In the 04, you know what, last week he was sitting there running as the 29, maybe a little bit of contact there, Doug, not sure. It was really close. Right now the 04 He's just got to look out front. He's just got to drive it. The 29 is in front, but you know, as they did that, as they're doing this, guess what's happening? The 3-car, Doug, is coming. He is now 1.1 back as these guys are battling it out. And I'm going to tell you, they better watch it. Is under 1.1. It's basically a second back to the 3. He's watching this. He's just hitting his line. And I'll tell you what, these two right here are going at it. And it's going to come down right to the last lap.
Yeah, that it is. We're down about 12 laps or so to go, Kevin. So, you know, with Lewis Bussler now being, you know, under a second, there's still a chance Lewis Bussler can get in there and be a factor in this one, too. But like I say, you know, there's going to be 2 cars Lewis has to pass now. These two got away from each other. But looks like McLucas might be starting to open up that advantage a little bit on Jeremy Enoch. I'm starting to wonder if maybe the handling's starting to go away on Enoch's car from a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and as we look, here comes the 3. He's now 7/10 off. This is probably the best thing that the 04 can do right now is just hit his mark, not worry about that 29, rely on your spotter, just look out front, hit your mark, don't worry about where that car is. He's got about 3 car lengths between him and the 29. You just got to do your business up here and hit every mark the way you've been doing it the whole race, not worry about anything. As you see, the 3-car is now back 6/10. So, like I said, these guys, they just got to look out the front and drive the race and just pull away.
Yeah, it's exactly what they've got to do right now, Kevin. It's 10 to go. You know, that's exactly what they've got to do. They've got to look out the front window. They've got to drive their race. They've got to drive their car. You know, it comes back to what you hear a lot of racers talk about. You don't race the other cars around you. You've got to race the track, and that's exactly what McLucas has got to do right now is race the track and race his car the way it needs to be ran.
That's it. And you look, Doug, he is 4/10. He's there. The 3 is there. So what are we to question him coming on pit road and taking 4 tires?
I guess the question earlier, you know, how his car would react in dirty air and, you know, with all these other cars around him. I guess it's being answered right now. He's pulled in. He's only about 2/10 off the bumper of the 29 of Jeremy Enoch, and he's coming quick. But, you know, he's adjusted his line, I've noticed, quite a bit, too. And he may have been searching around a little bit for some line, too, there. Oh, looks like the 3 got loose and about lost it right there as he bumped into the 29 right there.
And the 04 is loving that. He's like, man, do that again, as he drops back about a half a second. So looks like the 29 got a little bit out of control there, and the 3 had to check up, and he almost wrecked it himself. So he's back to a half second behind, and the 04 is just loving this. I don't think the 29 can get to the 04. But like I said, here comes the 3 to make another charge. We've got 7 laps to go, Doug. This is going to be one heck of a finish.
You know what I'm noticing right there too? It looks like number 3 machine might be just a tick loose coming up off the corners there in 2. So I don't know. He may have heated the tires up just a little bit, Kevin, trying to make that run, and picked up all that time.
Well, it's like we said before. Catching them's one thing, passing them's another. As he's 3/10 back, look how hard he drives it in the corner, Doug. Right there, looks like he's a little loose off as he loses a little bit of time. But he's so much better getting into the corner. And this is, I tell you, the 29 is just not going to roll over left. As he drives right back in, gets right to the back of the 29 again. 29 trying to play defense right here. The 04 is just hoping that both of them get together. And I'll tell you what, patience is going to go out the window here in a minute, Doug.
Yeah, we got 5 to go now, Kevin. As that 3 makes the dive on the inside to get around the 29. So, but it looks like he's just getting a little loose right there in the corner when he dives it in like that, Kevin.
Yeah, and you know what? He got around the 29 there. Watch the 29. He's probably going to back his corner up here a little bit and try to just hammer it right through the corner. Not sure if he's got the tires to do it, but man, the 04 has got to be sweating bullets right now.
Yeah, you got the rookie and 2 veterans there together now. So, I hope, you got to think these 2 veterans, have got to have something up their sleeve. And, being the rookie in that mix, just like you said, it's white knuckles, and, his palms are sweating at this point.
Yeah, he's right there, Doug. He's looking on the inside. The 04 is helpless. He's just got to just hammer it and hope it sticks. The 3 car's got just a little bit better tires than the 04, as it's a drag race to the start-finish line. He's down on the apron, the 04 on the outside. The 04 has to drive it deep in here and try to keep him pinned down. And here comes the 29 where they're side by side, Doug.
It's definitely getting interesting now, Kevin, as we got, 2 or 3 to go. So looks like the 29 and the 04, we're about to make some contact right there, as McLucas is still going to have a shot at this. You know, if he can get in there and get that inside lane away from Louis Bussa, he may have a shot at getting that car back out in front, Kevin.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I think the 3's got this one in the bag, and he waited till about 3 or 4 laps to go, Doug, to prove us all wrong. That he came on pit road and took 4 tires. We all said it ain't going to work. How's he going to get back through there? It's not over with yet, but man, I'm telling you, what a drive from the back to the front.
Yeah, he's done a heck of a job getting back up through that traffic. But you know, I'm looking at this 04. He's just not rolling over. You know, he's still trying to get what he can out of that car. We're coming across coming up close to the end here. McLucas has still got a shot at this. We'll see if this young man's able to make a move before this is over.
That's it. The best shot that he's got, Doug, is to back that corner up and try to diamond that thing and just drive it right straight down through the corner. But as you see right there, the 3's just got a little bit better tires than he does and drives it right up on a corner. So good drive by the 3 car, man.
Yeah, he's done an exceptional job out here tonight. Led the most laps, now at 188 laps led. So, you know, he's definitely had the dominant car all night. And with, you know, Louis Bussa crossing the line right there, it looks like, you know, all Lucas just isn't going to have enough.
That's it. And, man, what a drive. I mean, the 3 came from the back to the front. Rounding at the top 5, you got the 04 McLucas, the 29 of Enix in 3rd, Chris Melton driving up to 4th, Ben Britton up to 5th, Ryan Lee again up to 6th place, 7th is Darren Benj, 8th, the 87 of Kevin Kelly Jr., 9th, Justin Barden with a great run this week, and rounding out the top 10, Ducey, is Timmy St. Jean in 83.
Yeah, and give a heck of a job right there on that number 27 of Dale Reynolds after taking all the damage that he took there in that incident, bringing it home in 11th place tonight. Then our rookie in the 06, Partridge right there, you know, bringing home a 12th place finish. You know, good finish for that young man.
That's it. I mean, the 32 really needed a good finish there. As we see the 3 celebrating on the infield. What a drive.
Yeah, very much needed run tonight in that 32 for Justin Barden, bringing it home inside the top 10. You know, that's got to boost his confidence, you know, after the runs that he's had. You know, hasn't had the finishes he's been looking for here lately after getting into the chase. So definitely what he needed. But let's take a quick commercial break here while Louis Buss is out there doing his burnout. But we'll be back live here at Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas for the finale of tonight's Friends Healthcare Services 400 presented by NuffWORLD TV.
Link engaged.
Welcome to TeamSpeak, advanced voice communication software for any platform. TeamSpeak allows groups of people to communicate and share information with anyone via the internet or through private networks. Using your Windows, Mac or Linux-based computer, all you need is a headset with microphone, and in minutes you can be chatting with others in real time using our crystal clear voice technology. As a pioneer in the industry, TeamSpeak has become one of the most recognized brands in online gaming and voice over IP solutions. TeamSpeak features include a customizable toolbar, a clickable server icon and support for channel icons, custom graphics and VB code-enabled info panes, detailed user info and support for uploading avatars, firewall-friendly file transfer, tabs, public and private text chat with logging, custom skins, themes and sound packs, and much more.
Be happy with a fourth, but
I'm someone that's more than just a casual gamer. It's important to me to have fast, organized, quality voice comms. With TeamSpeak, I'm able to quickly customize user permissions and email a privilege key to an offline user. So the next time they log into the server, they'll be set up exactly how I want them to be. TeamSpeak also lets us do file transfers, assign player rank, insignia, upload avatars, or create custom skins. For me, there's no better choice out there than TeamSpeak.
TeamSpeak is free to use for non-commercial entities. Low-cost professional hosting is also available through our global network of authorized TeamSpeak host providers. For online gaming titles, social networks, government, military, or simulator projects, TeamSpeak also offers a software development kit. The TeamSpeak SDK allows developers to integrate our technology directly into their existing product or service. So no matter which game you're playing or with whom you wish to communicate, TeamSpeak has you covered. TeamSpeak. Flexible, powerful, crystal clear voice communication on any platform.
And welcome back live to the Friends of Healthcare 400 services. 400 here tonight at Kansas Speedway from Kansas City, Kansas, presented by NuffWORLD TV. Heck of a run out there tonight, and good racing, a lot of green flag racing out there, and a lot of different scenarios played out tonight, Kevin. But I understand you're standing by down on the pit road with driver the 78, Mr. Chris Melton.
Yeah, I got Chris Melton down here. Chris, man, you continue to amaze us up here, man, on this. Didn't make the chase, but you know what? You're bringing back the steering wheel every race, man. Can't help but, wonder what was going through your mind on that last fuel run there.
Well, that last fuel run, I was falling back a little bit, but I think I was catching back up on the later half of that run. I would hated to see that caution. I think it would have been pretty close there. It was my teammate made a mistake and made a pit stop early on that run, and I almost went in, and I almost lost a lap. So I was fortunate when it happened. Not pit.
Yeah, it seems like track position was paramount here tonight with all the green flag runs. We saw some people go in early, and it worked for the first fuel run, and then all of a sudden we've seen some cars get trapped a lap down. Explain how important track position was to your finish tonight.
Well, the first part of the race I chose to kind of lay back and just make my way through the field, but it seemed like we were getting almost a green flag run there, and then people would start pitting, and then something would happen. So track position was everything. I tried to stretch it as far as I can, knowing I'd lose a little bit of time to the guys that pitted early, but I'd gain it back towards the end of the run. But it was everything. Track position was everything for me.
That's good, man. You've continued to put a nice string of finishes up here. It seems like if you're not battling for the win and finishing top five, you're just wrecking. So kudos to the run you're having here and these final, the pushing the last 10 races, man.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. I'd like to thank my team, Metal Militia, for all their help. Hated to see Frankie have some electrical problems and go out early tonight, or we would have had a real strong team finish. I think we got everybody in the top 10 that finished the race. So thank you guys for putting on a good show.
And thank you, man, for putting on a show out there on the track. Driver to 78 there, Chris Melton. Appreciate it, man. Ducey, hear that you've got McLucas down there on pit lane.
That's correct, Kevin. I'm standing by with the driver of the 04 machine here, Justin McLucas. First of all, Justin, heck of a run tonight. take us through, that especially after the last caution came out. You got yourself up there. You were in good position. You and Jeremy were pulling away. What was the mindset on that last long run there?
I was just following him to try to make him wear out his stuff and just settle in there and wait until it was crunch time. And I figured Lewis Buss would be coming up through there, and he kind of steadied out there at about 2 seconds. I wasn't quite sure, maybe I was trying to wait as long as I could because I knew as soon as we started battling, Lewis would be there. And of course, never thought I'd be so disappointed with a second place finish here with all these great drivers, but I feel like I just let one slip away today.
Well, that was one of the questions we were having up here in the booth. Do you think maybe you made the move a little too early on Enix there when you guys got side by side and were battling things out that allowed Lewis to creep in there on you?
Well, I'd been basically, me and Enix were nose to tail all race, whether I was leading him or he was leading me. So after following him all race, I knew he'd be tough to pass. So I might have made it a little too early, but I wanted to make sure I could get the move done before it got too late, and it got even tougher,
Right, but heck of a run. Myself and Kevin, we even talk about, when you got Lewis up there, he finally was able to get around Jeremy and get up on your back bumper there. You guys were nose to tail, very close there. What was the mindset, at that point when you knew you had Lewis coming strong? He was right there on your bumper, and you had a whole rearview mirror full of that pink car. What was going through your mind at that point?
It was just, I knew it would be really tough at that point. My car was pushing a little bit on exit, and he just seemed like that was where he was so strong, getting back to the throttle, and he was able to just cut it right under me, and I tried so hard to hold him off on the outside, but he just had too much for me today.
Right. Well, congratulations, Dustin, on the second place finish tonight. I know it might not have been what you were looking for tonight, but heck of a run. You were able to stay up near the top 5, top 10 pretty much all night. So congratulations, on a well-deserved. You ran the wheels off that thing coming in second tonight. So congratulations, and understand, Kevin, you're standing by down on victory lane with driver number 3.
That's right, Doug. I've got the driver number 3, Lewis Buss, who he must have a crystal ball in his car, Doug, because we all stood up here in the booth when he come in and took those 4 tires. We're like, what is he doing? He's never going to be able to get through that traffic and all that. Lewis, you proved us all wrong here, man. Talk about that drive from the back to the front.
I'm sorry I had to prove you guys wrong, but man, I was just sitting there looking at the fuel window, and I was thinking, with that being the last turn, if it goes green, everybody's going to run their cars real hard. I was banking on guys to run out of fuel in front of me. So I kept going in and topping the car off, and then when we got to going, I kind of realized that it wasn't gonna work out that way. The fuel was pretty much going to even out. So I don't know. I got up inside the top 10 and then just started working on them because I saw the leaders out there all lined up, and it just worked out to where I was able to get enough of a run to get to where I needed to be to have just enough laps to get to the leaders and get by them.
I tell you, man, you were up on the wheel. We were watching the lap times. You were about 2.2 seconds back with about 20 to go, and we're like, well, you do the math. He's a tenth faster than the field. It's going to come down to about 2 to go that he might get him. And then we pretty much wrote you off, and the next thing you know, we see it start dropping as the leaders got racing. Talk about what was going through your mind when you knew with about 5 to go you were going to be right there on the second and first place car.
Oh yeah, man. I was watching the gaps when it was the 3 cars. Jay, Justin, and Chris were in front of me, and then I got by Chris and I was watching the gap, kind of steadied out, and I really wasn't pushing the car too hard because I was banking on them two to start racing because I know what this track's all about. It's about you get in the draft and you can make up a ton of time because I just felt like the whole race my car was better than everybody else's. And, the draft just held a bunch of cars, in with me for, quite a long run. So I just knew, if we could get, as soon as I got together and I got a sniff of that draft that I could get there in a second. And, man, I got there faster than I thought I would, and I just about wrecked me and Jay right when I got there. I spun it, almost spun it, had to save it and get it corralled back up, and had to make another run at him. And man, that was a handful. That was just a fun race.
That's it. You know, we talked about how you and the 33, basically the last few races, have been running together, and we were wondering, well, you know, he really doesn't have anybody to run with him. But we noticed at the beginning of the race, man, you just took off, and we saw Bruce Turner, your teammate, have a little bit of trouble too. So we were like, you know, who's he going to run with and everything else, and it looked like nobody was really able to take advantage of the restarts. 23 got out there in front of you one time, but it seemed like when you got like 15, 20 laps into a run, your car really started getting in a groove.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, that's the big thing I noticed with this track, that just the way you needed it to handle it. I mean, it seemed like it took a big swing one way or the other right when you hit the dead center of the fuel run. So, I mean, I just set it up and made it to where really all I could do was just pace the car until we got towards the middle part of the run, to where, you know, my tires would start to come in and everybody else would start to fall off. So that's what I banked on the whole race. Luckily, at the beginning of the race, you know, I was able to get a nice lead, because the pack behind me got held up. I can't even remember what happened now, but I broke away and I was able to break the draft, and that was a big thing about it. The draft was just so huge here, and you know, if you could manipulate the draft, do what you needed to do, it could help you out a ton here.
Well, I tell you what, man, we enjoyed watching you prove us wrong up here in the booth. That was a heck of a drive, like I said, from the back to the front. Want to give a shout out to anybody?
Yeah, thanks, guys. I enjoyed that one too. That was a fun race, and I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy the broadcast. I can't wait to see it. You guys do a great job, and we appreciate everything you're doing. And the sponsor, Friends Healthcare Services, for sponsoring this race. And I want to get the breast cancer awareness out. We're running a pink car. I'm gonna be running it this whole month. It's something that I think everybody can get behind. All the sponsors that help out, NuffWORLD and Valley Sports University, for taking on the Cup Series, and just a big thing. A big shout out to you, and to you, Kelly, and Ducey, and Buster, and Chuck, and Will, and Lacey. All the admins do everything they do. Just all the stuff behind the scenes. This is just such a great league, and we appreciate it all.
Well, we appreciate you coming out and putting the show like you did. Ducey, he just celebrated a birthday, and now he's celebrating a win at Kansas.
Hey, I tell you what, you couldn't ask for much of a better birthday gift, huh?
That's it.
But hey, you know, looking here, Kevin, now at some of the point standings, you know, big lead now for Louis Bussa after tonight's run. Moving up into second place, though, Brian Lee, currently 54 points out. Ben Britton moving up into third, 55 points out. Ben Bando, after missing tonight's race, falls to 57 out. So big hit for Ben Bando, not making it in tonight. And of course, Kevin Kelly Jr. now rounding out your top five. The young man has made his way into that top five, Kevin.
Yeah, he's battling out. You know, he's trying to top 10 in the depth right now, trying to get some experience down, learning down from these veterans. And like I said, heck of a drive from the 3-car tonight, bringing it from the back to the front. And again, Ducey, proving us all wrong in the booth.
Yeah, that he did tonight. But hey, fans, make sure to check us out. You know, stay tuned. Next week, we'll be back live here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's an afternoon race. It'll be 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So a little bit of a change to the schedule for next week, being a day race. And then a week after that, on October 19th, we got Talladega and the crapshoot coming up, as we like to refer to it, because you never know where you're going to finish. That one will be back to our normal time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then from Talladega, we go to the small track. You know, a lot of braking, a lot of bumpers there in Martinsville on October the 26th, also at 8 p.m. So, you know, take note of that. Come back, check us out. You know, we've got love bringing these broadcasts to you. Like to send a quick, you know, thank you to our sponsors who make sure we can put these broadcasts out to you. Of course, TeamSpeak, Diamond Medical, Spatial, Potomac, TB's Creative Designs, Valley Sports University, Halls on Post, Team Cities USA, Starting Park Blog, Edinburgh Roadrunners, Vine for Designs, Game Informer, and especially tonight's sponsor, Friends Healthcare, who sponsored the Friends Healthcare 400. Once again, as always, this is Douglas Sargent up here at the booth, joined by Kevin Kelly and producer Stephen Mahana. Come back next week. Check us out. Same time, same channel. Thanks for joining us.